are you?
My name's Bond. James Bond.
Bond. James Bond. Bond, what do you think you're doing?
Keeping the British hand up, sir.
Welcome to James Bond Radio. News, reviews, and discussion of all things 007.
Pussy.
As you can see, I have no problem with female authority.
Oh, pipe down, 007.
Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Good evening and welcome to James Bond Radio. This is podcast number 29. I'm Chris Wright and I have my jolly good friend, Mr. Tom Sears. Say hello, Tom.
Hello, Chris. I'm loving your radio voice, dude. I see you've been practicing as well.
Well, I've lost it. It's all gone now. But yeah, I was giving it a good practice over the many weeks while you were away sunning yourself. I thought I'd get a bit of practice in. So.
Oh, well, you've done very well, man. It's paid off. That's good.
Podcast 29, and what are we doing for podcast 29?
Podcast 29, to round out the year, is the Super Bonanza Boxing Day Bondian Bonanza quiz.
Bumper quiz.
Bumper quiz. That was another B word. So it's going to be testing my knowledge, it's going to be testing your knowledge and the knowledge of our listeners as well. And we've got a range of questions, and we've got some stuff that is reasonably manageable for even, I would say, the casual fan. And then we've got some stuff that's going to be pretty sort of nail-bitingly tough at the same time.
Well, there's some questions that I've written down and I don't know the answers to, and it's like, that's going to be tricky. I think I'm just going to have to guess and hope that you get the answer right, because I really won't know what they are. They're that difficult. But anyway, we'll see how we get on.
Very nice, very nice. So before we get into the meat and potatoes, we're gonna do a bit more of Spectre speculations and all that kind of stuff, and chatting about
a lot of that.
About Bond 24. There's been a lot going on over the last. It's been 3 weeks since our last episode.
3 weeks since you shit your pants twice.
Indeed, yeah, the double shitter.
That's amazing.
So there's quite a lot to talk about. But what we will say before we do any of that is that obviously there's been the Sony hack, which we'll talk about in depth in a minute, but we're not going to reveal any of those spoilers that were revealed, because to be blatantly honest, neither you or I have read any, because we panicked, didn't we? And we didn't want to hear it. So
I just didn't want to see it. No.
So really with our previous episode, which was the Spectre revealed episode, we did a lot of speculating and a lot of talk about rumours. But then with all this Sony hack business, with a lot of the actual facts of what's happening being out there on the web, that's something we didn't really want to talk about because it's a bit too spoilery for us. But anyway, we'll talk about that more in a second. And before we get cracking, make sure you come join us on Facebook, which is just James Bond Radio. Stick that into the Facebook search. We've got a bubbling community going on over there. People posting amazing stuff I've never seen before, stuff you've never seen before, and just quite honestly, amazing stuff.
Every single day as well.
Every single day.
So good.
Indeed. So come and join us on Facebook. We're on Twitter at James Bond Radio. And also come over to jamesbondradio.com, where you can leave us a SpeakPipe message, which is just a voicemail you can leave through your computer. If you come to the website, you'll see a button on the right-hand side of the screen where you can leave us messages. And we play quite a few of them on the show, so that's good. Also, it really helps us if you can leave us a glowing 5-star iTunes review, because that helps us rank higher and get more listeners and all that kind of stuff. So if you could head over to iTunes and pop James Bond Radio into the iTunes store search, you'll find us on there, and any glowing reviews would be absolutely massively appreciated. So there we go.
I actually have a glowing 5-star review that I'd like to hand out, if I may.
Oh yeah, go on.
And that's to probably the best tour guide video that I've ever seen, which was on James Bond Radio Facebook page about 2 weeks ago, and it involved a certain island in near off Southeast Asia, and a certain someone who might have visited the certain island. So, can we have expanded on that?
Well,
please?
what can I say? Thank you for the award. Basically, if this is your first James Bond Radio episode, you might not know I spent the last month in Thailand, and I've just got back. And obviously, no trip to Thailand is complete without a trip to James Bond Island. And it was what I can only describe as a religious experience. It was amazing. So basically what it was an all-day boat trip. around loads and loads of different islands, and James Bond Radio was only one of those. James Bond Island was only one of those. But it was amazing. So as soon as we got out into the boat and kind of left the main island, it was just like being in Man with the Golden Gun. It was just like all those weird shaped islands everywhere, all dotted around, just loads of them, hundreds of them off as far as the eye could see. And we did all sorts of stuff. Like we stopped off at one and like canoed around this little kind of area and went inside caves and all sorts of stuff. It was a really rad day out. And then when we pulled up to James Bond Island, they literally only gave us 40 minutes before we had to
Did you not
get
try
off.
and like hide away and like stay on
Well,
sleep overnight maybe?
Do you know?
And then all the tourists are gone and you could have James Bond Island to yourself.
Well, there you go. To be honest with you, I was the last one. They had to come and get me.
Good.
So,
Good.
you know, there was that. So basically what happens is I made as you mentioned, a little video and put it up on YouTube. So if you come onto the youtube.com/James Bond Radio and you'll see it, or just come onto our website. Actually, there's a blog post on there all about it. And basically you come off in this little sort of jetty section, and then there's just a sea of people with loads of little stalls selling stuff. But the weird thing is there's no James Bond stuff there, like absolutely none of it. Like I imagine there'd be like T-shirts, posters, and God knows what, but it's just random knickknacks. And not the knickknack that we know and love. It's just like seashells and bracelets and stuff. And the only Bond thing there was like one T-shirt that was like just looked rubbish that you wouldn't want. So that was weird. But then basically as soon as you get off the boat, you see Scaramanga's front door, like that sort of sharp, like smooth leaning rock going right up to his front door. And then right next to that is the beach where Bond would have landed his plane. And it's just there's just so many little spots, but it's so small, it's tiny, like it looks way bigger on the film.
I remember you saying you were shocked at literally how small, and it must have been good camera trickery to how, you know, when they filmed it and everything.
Yeah, completely. And then you've got like a set of stairs that goes up and round, and that leads to the second beach that you see at the beginning where Miss Anders is sunbathing and all that kind of stuff, with that little kind of outcrop of rock that goes above them to provide the shade. So that's literally all it is. But the weird thing is, for something that's such a huge tourist attraction, if you hadn't seen The Man with the Golden Gun, there would be no point in going there. Like it's not like I would have expected, like, you know, you go to a museum and stuff and you've got things on the wall to read about like the stuff you're looking at. There's none of that. I imagine there'd be like plaques on the wall of being like, okay, this is the spot where they filmed this, or at least, you know, a picture of Roger Moore. Nothing at all. Like there it is.
Do you think, I was just having to think about that, and I think the main reason that must be is due to licensing and not being like from a legal perspective. But then you go in Bangkok and they've got fake this, that and that and the other, haven't they? They've got fake everything. So that shocks me. I can't imagine why they don't have caps, T-shirts, photographs of Scaramanga and Bond on the island, you know, knick-knack. It seems like they'd just sell so much, wouldn't they, if they had it there?
Well, that's it.
Strange.
I thought
Very strange. Maybe you should like set up shop, set up your own stall, and then make a few baht on the side. 20,000 baht, 20,000 baht. You could
indeed,
you could do that.
But it was really weird, and it was all. The sad thing was, it felt very rushed. So like by the time I arrived and I'd had a look around, it sort of got the lay of the land of where everything was. It was like they were sort of like hustling us onto the boat. So I just got some time to make some quick video. And that was that. Video. But yeah, definitely worth a visit nonetheless. It was just a shame. I'd have loved to have spent all afternoon there and just like reproduce in perfect camera angles and all that kind of shit. But we didn't have time in the end. But it was great though. And like the funny thing is when I went round to that second beach, I wasn't sure if that was it because it looks different when you're on it. Like, and I was like, I can see the rocky outcrop, so I think this is probably it. So I'm filming it just in case. And then with the boat actually left from that beach, and as the boat's pulling away, you just kind of get the camera angle as you pull away, and I was like, there it was. That was definitely it. And as it's just sort of pulling away, it's just the perfect. And you see the little steps that Nick Nack runs up and all that kind of stuff. And it's almost a shame that I didn't realise until I'd actually left the beach that it was definitely that section. But definitely highly recommended for anybody who's going to Thailand. Definitely check it out.
I think we'll have to do a on location podcast from there one day. We'll get us both there. We might have to stow away overnight. You never know. It might be guarded, but we'll figure a way. Did they have any of those wooden elephants on the stalls? Because that's something I probably would have bought just for a laugh.
No, sadly not. I kept my eye out, but there was just literally the only thing that was remotely Bond related was this one T-shirt that just said James Bond Island. It looked like somebody'd photocopied it onto a T-shirt,
right?
And just it was like the crappiest T-shirt you've ever seen. So yeah, there were no little knickknacks, unfortunately, but there you go. But highly recommended, and I feel like a big tick on my bucket list is gone there. So that was good. So moving on, we've had some big Bond 24 stuff happening since last time, haven't we? With this humongous Sony North Korea hack and leaks and all that kind of business, haven't we?
Yeah, well, it's all been a bit weird, hasn't it? I mean, no one quite knows who's involved. It's like a big sort of secret underground mission almost in itself, the whole news story. You got some people saying it's North Korea, some people saying that other people are saying it's North Korea because, they're the kind of current enemy at the moment, as it were, and all this sort of going on. But yeah, it was all very, very strange. And there was that film James Franco and Seth Rogen did called The Interview, where they are on a mission to, I don't know, is it find...
They're supposed to assassinate Kim Jong-un, aren't they? And he didn't take kindly to it. And
no, of course. But it's all sort of tongue-in-cheek. I know it's not right. But yeah, but basically this whole hack thing then, whoever it was found sort of... details about SPECTRE, about Bond 24, script story details, financial details. Now, I don't know the full ins and outs, and neither do you, because, we've had opportunities to look into this, as has everyone, really.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to do it. I do not want to do it. It's like the same question that we've had before. If you had the script for SPECTRE lying in front of you right now, okay, they might not have hacked the full script, if you had that in front of you, would you read it? And I would really say no, not until after the film.
It's tricky, isn't it? If I had a copy of the script of SPECTRE right here in front of me, it would be one of those things where I would keep picking it up and going to turn the page and then putting it down again. And then I'd pick it up and then I'd put it down. And it would be the most tempting thing ever. But I would have to say no. I would have to leave it. And the thing is, as for my understanding, is there's been extensive leaks about what happens in the film, and it's all over the internet. But I don't. It's too much. I don't want to know. Like, if it was just this one little hint of something, then it's a bit different. But like, to know the ins and outs of it, it would just, for me, that would spoil it. That's going to spoil all the surprise. It's like opening your presents before Christmas Day, innit?
Too right, exactly. Yeah. Even though the Austrians opened them the day before, so maybe
is that what it is?
Yeah, Oberhauser's way of
yeah,
but yeah,
but yeah, no, completely. And I think as tempting as it is to open your Christmas presents early, whenever you do, it's always a disappointment, isn't it? So bollocks to it. So for me, in terms of the JBR policy, it's a bit of a news blackout on that front. Like, I don't think, and especially as well, out of respect to Eon Productions as well, because this is illegally obtained stuff. It's not something that's just somebody's leaked it a little bit and it's still in the rumor territory. It's like, it's black and white stuff that's been leaked. It's just I don't think it's not right. So bollocks to it. That's what I say. Bollocks to it. Yeah.
But on to happier news. So we've like, since SPECTRE's been out, we've received loads of sort of messages and this, that and the other, and it's been really good on that front. Everyone's been interacting. But we've also been getting one or two things to do with, like, other stuff to do with Bond. And only today we received a photo, which I'd never seen before, and I don't think you'd seen before.
No.
And I don't think many of our JBR listeners have seen before. And the photo was given by Haroon van der Brom, who I know he left a message in a previous podcast, I think it was. And it was a picture of the 00 agents in Thunderball, where they're all seated around when M's giving the lecture when Bond arrives late. But instead of a behind the shot of just like their heads and the chairs, it's a front shot. And you see, I think it's from 003 up to 007. And it was just brilliant to see. It's something I hadn't seen before, and it proved the thought that we had that 003 might have been a lady, and indeed it was. So there was 003, and she was a woman. But it was a brilliant shot.
I God knows where Jeroen found that, because it was. I saw it this morning. I was like, no way! It's just that shot that you see in the film of all the 00s in those high back chairs from behind, and you just see the back of everybody. And when we reviewed Thunderball, we talked about that, didn't we? We was like, shit, that's all the 00s that have been brought in. Yeah. And this is a photo taken from the other angle, looking at everybody face on. So like you say, you see from 3 up to 7. And then they are just kind of all hanging out listening to him. And I no idea where that photo came from, but Jeroen, good work, buddy. That was an amazing find. So that's even more reason to come join us on Facebook, because stuff like that crops up all the time. It's amazing. Exactly.
But that photo also got me thinking, because we mentioned obviously about this woman being a 00. Now, the last 00 was. Have we had a 00 since Sean Bean, since 006?
I don't think we have, unless I don't even want to mention it. That pre-title sequence to Die Another Day, are they 00s maybe? I don't know.
Well, yeah, we like you said, we won't mention that. Yeah. So anyway, but what we haven't had obviously since Thunderball is a 00 who's a female, who's a woman. So I think it'd be awesome if we had a 00 in one of the upcoming Bonds who's a woman, which then got me thinking, well, hang on a minute, Madeline Swan is a very English name, and you know, we don't know the full details of her character, but how cool would that be if she was a 00?
That would be cool. Do you know what? There's nothing I love more than seeing other 00s in Bond movies when they crop up. But I think one of the key things that makes them so cool is that they're so rare, in the sense that you don't see them all that often. So when they do crop up, it's awesome. It's like in old school Star Wars when there's only 2 or 3 Jedi around. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then they made the other movies and there's about 1 million of them, and they suddenly lose all their appeal. So if they do it well, then I would love to see another 00. And if Madeline's a 00, I could be on board with that, definitely. Yeah.
Keep it rare. And speaking of Madeline, Miss Lea Seydoux, I hear you had a little viewing at the...
it's just strictly for research purposes, obviously, Chris. I thought I'm sure it was. I needed to sort of have a look at some of Madeline, some of Leah's other work. I had a little watch of Blue is the Warmest Colour. I don't know if all of our listeners are aware, but it features some very graphic scenes somewhat midway through the movie. So were they so graphic that you turned it off straight away in disgust, or were they appealingly graphic? All I can say is, fuck me, I have never seen anything quite like that in all my life. Well, I have, but I wasn't expecting it to be quite the strength that it was. I was quite taken aback. But I highly recommend it. That's all I can really say. I mean, this is a family show after all. Well, it's not really a family show, but no, it's extraordinarily graphic. If you want to see some up close Bond girlness from SPECTRE, then definitely investigate. It's well worth it. She does well, does she, Leia? She does well. Yeah, she's a fantastic performer. Excellent performance. Yeah, excellent. Great stuff. She definitely deserves all the awards she gets. Excellent, brilliant stuff. Okay, well, in terms of sort of other Bond 24 news, we haven't. One thing which we mentioned last time, which we don't definitely know anything more about, is the whole theme song. Because we heard on the rumour mill, there were rumours about Paloma Faith, which, I think that's still a really interesting choice. I think she's sort of, in my mind, comes from a similar sort of world that Adele does. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, she's a bit more poppy, isn't she, than Adele? But I feel like that could be a good choice. Again, like I say, these are all just rumours at this point. But whether this one's true or not, I don't know. But so there's that, and there was another rumor that perhaps a band had been approached. There were a band going to do it. So I don't know. It's tricky to know, isn't it? Because it totally depends. Because if you look at who we've had in the Daniel era so far, Chris Cornell, Jack White, and then Adele, there is a leaning towards the rockier side of things. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's a band. I don't, we just don't know. But interesting. Basically, that's it. Yeah, we know all about it. Yeah. Right. There was another, in fact, this is part of the spoiler thing, which, again, we won't go into because, well, I didn't read it. But basically, there was a bit about Bond filming in London, and there was a lot of photos. In fact, one kind of slipped onto the page
really, and I guess it shouldn't have done really, but so there is a lot of information out there about stuff like that, and there's a bit about Bond shooting in London, but again, we just wanted to try and avoid that as much as we could.
Yeah, the whole spoiler thing is a tricky one, isn't it? I remember somebody saying on the Facebook page, I can't remember who it was, but they were saying that when they saw a little featurette about Skyfall before they'd seen the film, and Judy mentioned that she got to use a gun in this film. And he said, as he was watching Skyfall, there was the part where Silver's on his way to try and kill M, in that sort of courtroom scene.
Yeah.
And it looked like that was going to be the moment that Judy was going to get shot, but he knew it wasn't going to happen because he hadn't seen her with a gun yet, and he knew that was going to happen at some point. Right, so even just a throwaway comment like that is a spoiler in the sense that it's so hard to manage it. So so we're going to do our best just to not, and if there's something really compelling that comes to light that we have to talk about, then we will discuss it, but we'll do it in a very clear and measured way. Yeah. But all we're going to say is that they've been filming in London. Daniel looks rad. I'm happy.
He does. He looks good. He looks good, definitely. Yeah. But on to stuff that we definitely can talk about. Yeah. Now, recent reveals that the villain, we're assuming obviously Mr. Hinks, has got a brand new car, although how he will fit in it, I don't know. It is the beautiful Jaguar CX-75, which looks freaking amazing. And I think it's got to be a drop top because the guy's so big. I don't think he'd get in sort of a normal car. Or maybe it's not him. Maybe this is Lucius Sciarra's car, or perhaps even Madeline Swan's. Again, we don't know.
Yeah,
it could be any of them. But straight away, Aston Jaguar, with the DB10. What thought does it bring?
I don't even want to tell you what it brings to mind. Bond in an Aston and a villain in a fucking Jaguar.
Yeah,
it just brings back horrible nightmares of Die Another Day. Oh man, the thing is, in that original casting call, it says Hinks must have driving skills. So I feel like this leads to the fact that there might be some sort of car chase going on. Whether these are the cars involved or not, I don't know. But I just, I don't know. I'm worried because there's a whole leaning, and Daniel said it in interviews as well, that he's more open to the more fantastical elements the further they go along. And I'm just worried that they're going to push that a little bit too far. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. But we'll see.
I've got a funny feeling they're onto it this time, in terms of it's almost like we're going to dangle this carrot. We're going to make you think you're going to watch another Die Another Day.
Yeah.
But actually, it's going to be epic. It's going to be amazing. And, and I'm hoping that's the way it is. I know that's the way it's going to be. I don't think they'd muck up whatsoever. It'll be interesting to see that. The Jaguar is a bit like, it's a cross between a Ferrari Enzo with a Maserati nose, and it's really, that and the DB10 together, it will look amazing wherever it is. But I think rather than having it almost, when it was sliding on the ice and Die Another Day, it's almost like quite like a ballet, almost quite poetic. The thing I didn't like was zoom, slow motion, all this. I think they're going to have two amazing looking cars that completely smashed the F out of them. Like Quantum, like at the start of Quantum, his DBS got totaled. I think these two cars might end up like that. That's how I'd like it to go. But I also think there will be some gadgetry involved. I think this will be Q stepping up to the next level now.
Yeah, I think so. I think that has to happen. Because if you imagine when they reintroduced Q in Skyfall, you could say that his role was somewhat underwhelming in the sense that all he gave Bond was a gun and a radio. I feel that was the perfect choice because you can't go mental these days with gadgets. You just can't do it. So I feel like what's probably going to happen with the next one is they're going to step up the gadgets a little bit. Hopefully more in the vein of like the attaché case and stuff like that, rather than some stupid little mobile phone that does everything. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to see that at all.
Yeah.
And I feel like with what Mendes said about the car at the unveiling, I feel like this is going to be Daniel's featured car chase. There's going to be some gadgets. There's going to be some revolving number plates, oil slicks, whatever it is. I don't know. But even saying that, I can't quite imagine Daniel's Bond having all that stuff. So it's got to be quite subtle. I don't think they can go all out. I don't think there's going to be missiles behind the headlights and things like that.
Yeah.
Just a few optional extras installed.
Yeah. Well, it'll be great to see whatever happens, and who knows? Maybe. Well, who knows? We'll see. The only other Bond 24 news, which is not huge, but if you're a vodka drinker, maybe it is. Which is that Bond, for the very first time, will be drinking Belvedere vodka. So he's had a long association with Smirnoff, which goes back to Dr. No. He also has drink Stolichnaya in a few of the Bonds, and Absolute in Never Say Never, and Finladia, I think he drinks.
And don't forget Siamese vodka as well. He's had some of that.
Siamese vodka, yeah, and which didn't taste very nice, apparently.
No, apparently not.
Yeah.
No.
Did you have any Siamese vodka when you were out in Thailand?
No, do you know what? Every single place I went past that sold wine, I peeled back the menu hoping to find some foo yuck, but sadly it doesn't seem to exist. I don't think it's
no luck for foo yuck.
I tell you what though, like obviously you lived in Thailand for a little bit, so you know, but Thailand is a somewhat like crazy country in this terms of like for example, one of the petrol stations I walked past for mopeds, bikes and stuff was just basically a rack of old whiskey bottles full of gasoline with a cork in the top. And then when you fill up the bike, somebody just comes out with a face mask and pours it straight in the tank, and there you go. Yeah. Anyway, I had some Thai beer called Chang while I was there. And I had 2 or 3 of them, and I noticed myself getting really drunk compared to the other dude that I was drinking with. Yeah. And I found out that in Chang beer, they put formaldehyde in it. And it's like the percentage mark that they give you on the bottle completely varies. So it's like it could be 4%, it could be 8%. You just don't know. And really? Somebody I met out there said that they had a friend who drank Chang full time, and basically started to go blind. And then when he started to lose his vision, and then when he stopped drinking Chang, his vision came back. So if that's how they make their beer, I can imagine foo yuck could have been pretty nasty stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah.
At least you avoided it then in that case.
Yeah, as soon as I heard that, I was like, I'm not drinking that anymore. That's crazy. But,
no, dodgy, man. That's pretty bad. Completely. So I think we're going to start off now with, we've kind of did it obviously in the last one, but we're going to try and make this a bit of a podcast regular. We're going to do the Bond SPECTRE speculation section.
Bond speculation.
Yeah.
There it is.
Flames, fire, explosion, Bond speculation, or something like that. Anyway, so there's loads flying around. I think the very first thing we should look at is the fact that, Blofeld, we don't know if he's in Spectre or not, we just don't know. But if he is, and if we're perhaps thinking in a weird way that there's some kind of narrative within the Bond films, which sometimes there is, how possibly could he have survived that chimney fall in For Your Eyes Only? Did you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I'm firmly in the camp that everything pre-Casino Royale hasn't happened. So I feel like that's a hard reboot. Blofeld, Bond hasn't encountered him at all in any way, shape or form. And there it is. Now, if you were of the opinion that it was a solid through line of time and that he did drop Blofeld down the chimney, maybe it just wasn't Blofeld. Maybe it was one of his doubles from the Diamonds Are Forever days.
Wow, that could have been it. And now I've got a list of possibles and that wasn't even on there.
There you go. Let's hear your possibles then.
Right, okay, here we go. So number 1, some of them are more likely than others. Perhaps the wheelchair became jammed before it hit the bottom.
Okay. Now,
I think this is unlikely, though, because the chimney seems to...
Unlikely.
Because the chimney seems to taper outwards towards the bottom. So if anything, it wouldn't get stuck.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, perhaps Blofeld had an inbuilt ejector seat in the wheelchair. So after Bond tipped him down and flew away, he had his ejector seat, fired him out of the chimney, and then he hit a parachute and floated down to safety. That could have happened.
Yeah, I could have seen that,
Okay. Another one. Perhaps he had a device fitted to the edge of his wheelchair that when he pressed a button, it expanded with air, like air rams, like a hovercraft, which slowed. Then it became so wide that it did hit the sides of the chimney and caused friction to slow him down. So he became stuck in the chimney, and obviously absorbed any potential crash if he did hit the bottom.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, but then that would put him inside the chimney. So, he's still in the chimney.
He needs to escape from the chimney, doesn't he? Yeah,
of course he does. So he's got various options that he could have had here. Obviously, he's still got his controls on the wheelchair, so he could potentially contact his cronies to come and find him, to come and pick him up. Perhaps they came looking for a tracking beacon, but he couldn't get through to them, so his cat obviously would have shown them where he is because the cat would have seen him. Was the cat on the wheelchair? Did the cat go down with him on the chimney? Now, that's an interesting question. I don't think he did. I think the cat got away, so the cat would have obviously shown them where he is. Yeah. And then it's just a case of breaking off a few bricks, just enough to get in, and so the chimney doesn't sort of topple. Yeah. So that's another way. So really, there are hundreds of ways that you could have done it.
There's a lot of ways.
There's a lot of ways. So I think your way is probably better than any of the ones I just described. That it is a double, but we never know. But yeah, so who knows? There's potential there. If any non-believers or any argumentative people are saying no, he's dead, he can't come back. Well, there you go. There's loads of ways he could have done.
It's going to be really interesting to see how they play it out in the future, isn't it? Whereby how they dealt with that reboot in their minds, whether this is almost like an alternate dimension Bond, where he's never going to meet people like Goldfinger or Dr. No, or this is going back to the beginning of that timeline, and we're looking at the younger Bond who will one day fight those people. It's tricky, isn't it, to know what they've got in mind there.
I mean, personally, I think it's a bit different with Blofeld because, he's been a recurring character before. He's got this organisation behind him. There's a history there, and bringing him back, like we've gone crazy over it. Loads of other Bond fans is what we've wanted. He's potentially back. At least we know Spectre's back. Yeah. The idea of him playing against another Blofeld, another Goldfinger, or another Dr. No or something. You can't do that. Gert Frobe was Goldfinger. There's no one in the world that could even come close to being Goldfinger. Same with any of them in the past. It's like Francisco Scaramanga. You couldn't get anyone else to play him. Christopher Lee was him, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's tricky, that, isn't it? Like, for example, in Hollywood these days, they remake so many films and they all just limp out, and none of them, I can't name a single remake of anything that was any kind of improvement on the first one. Can you think of any? No. I can't think of any.
Not off the top of my head, no.
And I just feel like those characters have stood the test of time so well. People still fucking love Goldfinger 50 years on, and it's like, I just don't feel you could do it. It would just wouldn't work. The only ones I could say that you could perhaps remake would be the ones that just aren't very good, or you remake the ones where the story was massively different to the original Fleming story, and that's the only way you could get away with it.
All right. My 2 cents on that is the first one, when you said make remakes of the ones that aren't very good. Yeah. To people out there isn't a Bond film that is bad. In terms of every Bond film out there that perhaps you might think is bad, I might think is bad, or Joe Bloggs might think is bad, is going to be the best Bond film for someone else. So straight away, that idea's got to be scrubbed. But having the other books with material in them, I don't think you could bring in the same characters, but that Hugo Drax in the book is so different. I think you could bring in that villain into a potential Bond film, but call him something else, but have that character.
Do you know what? The book. Like when I was saying remake the ones that are bad, I just scanned through my mind to think, well, which ones are the bad ones? And the only one, well, Die Another Day, obviously, doesn't need mentioning.
But that's a remake almost of Diamonds anyway, isn't it? Kind of.
Yeah, I guess so. But like for me, I would say something like Moonraker, like that. I feel like that story in the book deserves being made, because even though the film title has already been taken and the villain has already been taken, that story hasn't been told at all.
I know that there is a whole big thing about that story is not big enough. It's just a piddly rocket going to threaten London. Now everything's massive. But you can adapt stuff. Yeah. Okay, so you can still take like the bridge game that he plays against. Jax was brilliant. The car chase. The White Cliffs of Dover. There's still stuff you can do. Okay, you would need to expand on it, but there's still enough material there.
Totally. I mean,
to work with.
Look at Casino Royale. You know what I mean? The main kind of storyline on that is a card game. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like there was no massive plot to take over the world. Do you know what I mean? And it was one of the best in the whole series. So I feel like you don't need that massive overarching plot. You can do Bond on a smaller scale, and it can work amazingly well. Yeah. So I feel. But again, like we said before, remaking Bond is something that it just wouldn't be done. It just couldn't be done. No, in the same way.
Definitely not. So there we go. Yeah. So what we have, obviously, we had floods and floods of people sort of coming in with their ideas of what might happen in Bond 24. So I'm just going to reel off a few of the ones that came through which caught our eye, which we thought, well, actually, thinking a little bit outside the box, but also how cool some of these ideas would be. So, straight away, even both of us did in terms of Christoph Waltz, Blofeld, he's got to be Blofeld. He would make a brilliant Blofeld if it does happen, but if it doesn't happen, obviously there are lots of other ways it could go. Yeah. So Simon Woolley, the man with the golden voice, who happened to send in a rather nifty little video clip from his time in Mexico. Yeah. He basically touted the potential idea of Monica Bellucci being the new Blofeld. And he made a good point that with Judi Dench now gone, Barbara Broccoli, my lovely lady, she's incredibly she's a power woman. She likes to see women, strong characters who are women. Yeah. Now Judy's left a big hole from that side of things. What potential better way to fill that than to perhaps make Blofeld a woman, the head of SPECTRE, the biggest organisation, crime organisation in the world?
Well, you say that, Chris. That is what happened in one of the John Gardner books. There was, I believe, and it's been many years since I read those, but I think it might have been Roll of Honour. He faces off against Blofeld's daughter, who obviously still is Blofeld because she's Blofeld's daughter. Yeah. So, and she was the head of like a new SPECTRE. So I guess that option's open. For me, if that did come true, I would be disappointed. I don't want to see a female. I don't want to see a female Blofeld, but it could be a twist that they go with. Absolutely.
Yeah, even if she's bald and stroking a white cat.
Well, she's so bloody beautiful as she is. I feel like it will be a step in the wrong direction. Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Well, that was one of the things. And along the same sort of lines, Simon Brodie mentioned, well, why not Andrew Scott? I know you probably haven't had a chance to see the Sherlocks recently, but he's a brilliant actor. He's young, so he's got a lot of time to appear in future movies. He's also not as big as, say, Christoph Waltz. Yeah. So in terms of the likelihood of getting him back for future films is potential there as well. We know he's involved in sort of the MI6 side of things, being the Denby character, but perhaps that's another route that it might take.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I could see that happening. Like I say, he's already played one sort of supervillain, so why not another? Again, my gut feeling tells me all signs point to Christoph, but if they are going to go for something else, I could see that working. He could be the sort of they said he's MI6 man Denby, so he could be one of those that he's like the enemy being super close and under their noses without them knowing, and he ends up being Blofeld. Maybe, you never know. Yeah.
But I mean, that could be a plot twist that could work.
Indeed,
definitely,
absolutely.
Or here's another crazy theory. What if there is no Blofeld whatsoever in Bond 24? What if they're using the word SPECTRE? They've mentioned an organisation, so that has to be there. Whether that organisation is Quantum and not SPECTRE, whether it's SPECTRE, who knows? But there has to be an organisation. The title is SPECTRE, so we know that. But what if there's no Blofeld? What if he did die in the chimney fall? Obviously, if you want to go that way. Or what if, it's now being run by the White Cat? What if the cat is now in charge?
Maybe the cat is Blofeld. Or
potentially Blofeld's cloned son could be running.
That's true. That's true.
Where have we heard that before? Yeah, no, I mean, in all honesty, if there isn't any Blofeld in it, I'll be a little bit disappointed. But what I want is even if it's right 10-second glimpse of him. I don't know why I've just got a picture of this guy carrying like a cat basket with a white cat in it in the background behind whatever's going on. So you're focusing on something and you just see this guy walk past with a thing. I don't know, and I know that's not going to happen. But even if it's as short as that, I would be like, yeah, come on.
Like I think that was Mark O'Connell's idea, wasn't it? Like when we interviewed him and he was talking about bringing back Blofeld, he was saying he was saying that would be his reveal at an airport, somebody walking past with like a cat carrier or something, and you just see a glimpse of that. Yeah. No, do you know what? I'm on board with an idea like that. I feel like even if we don't see Blofeld and the story gets wrapped up, and then there's just this little bit at the end that just twists the story, so it's like, oh shit, Bond hasn't solved it. This is the dude that was actually behind it, and this is Blofeld, and that's the cliffhanger for Bond 25. Yeah. Like if it's something like that, I will enjoy that. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
But yeah, I just like the idea of Blofeld strolling along with a little cat carrier on his way to the vet. Just
on the way to, that would be pretty cool.
Do you know what is funny when you think about Blofeld being a supervillain? Is when you think of his normal day-to-day life of how, like, can you imagine him getting up in the morning and getting out the whiskers and feeding, like putting the cat food down in a little bowl for him, and then
that is Austin, that is Dr. Evil, isn't it? With his meow mix or whatever.
Speaking of Dr. Evil, he made a comeback this week. Have you heard about this?
He did. Yeah. He did. He was involved in the hacking as well, or had something to say about it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. They were on Saturday Night Live. He brought the character back just for like a little mini sketch talking about the whole hacking scandal and all that kind of stuff. Which is it's up on YouTube, so it's worth a look.
So did he actually do it? Was it?
No. He was just commenting on it as a fellow evil organisation. But very funny. So definitely worth watch. Good to have Dr. Evil back. Apparently, the Austin Powers 4 is in the works, but he doesn't want to do it until the story is absolutely nailed and perfect. So I'm sure we'll see Austin back at some point as well, which will be nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So we've just got a couple more to go through quickly. So Glenn Mitchell, I think we might have mentioned this actually, had the idea with the porcelain dog. Now, obviously, that was used as quite a lot in Skyfall. But in the poster that we've got of Spectre with the porcelain dog, you can see it's been cracked and glued together. So it's almost like in the explosion, even though when he was given the dog at the end of Skyfall, had it been fixed or was it just normal? I can't remember now.
So this is the thing. That image that you're talking about is the first shot that they put on Instagram from the shooting of Spectre. So it's the clapperboard on there on a desk with the Royal Dalton Bulldog. So that dog has to feature in the film. It's got to be in there. It
has to feature in the film. Yeah. And the fact that it's got this glued sort of, it's been glued together. Like Glenn Mitchell had the idea that perhaps there's something inside, like the last mission from Judi Dench's M that she's given to Bond posthumously is like maybe a little microchip in this bulldog or whatever it might be. But I think that's a really cool idea. The fact that her, even though we've got Gareth Mallory, her gives him one last thing that he has to do. I mean, it's a long shot, but I mean, it's an interesting take, I thought. But I think that bulldog definitely will have something to do with the story, in whatever way we do. Okay, so we've got one more here. Stephen G thinks Oberhauser is definitely not Blofeld, and that we won't see Blofeld, or maybe only a glimpse of him in Spectre. He thought that what Spectre is currently doing is following the theme of From Russia with Love, where Blofeld mentioned about the Siamese fighting fish who leave two other fish to fight together, being this point Quantum and MI6, while they wait in the wings until they're so weak,
So what you're saying,
can strike.
So you mean like the when Blofeld does a speech in From Russia, and he's like, you watch the two fish fight each other, and then there's one waiting in the wings until one is dead and the other one is so weak, then the other can strike, and that's the ethos of Spectre in a sense.
Exactly.
So what his theory is that Blofeld is sitting off to one side watching MI6 versus Quantum until one of them is sufficiently weakened to swoop in and I mean that's a nice idea. Yeah, that is nice.
I like it. It's a cool little analogy. I think that'll probably happen. I think. he also thought Oberhauser, or the other thing he thought was that Oberhauser is under extortion of Spectre. So Spectre found out that he is like a boyhood friend of Bond and is now using him or sending him to kill Bond. But obviously the past comes up and he can't actually kill Bond. And so perhaps Spectre just kills Oberhauser. So he's sent on a mission to kill him. So you think he's bad, but in the end he can't do it because he's mates with him. And then Spectre sort of kill him, and then we go to the round 2. Which is another interesting sort of thing. I like all this sort of speculation stuff. You never know. Yeah. Like out of 100 speculations, maybe 2 might have some partial truths within it. A grain
of truth in it, yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting. So I thought I'd have a look at the Oxford Dictionary in terms of Spectre. So there's 2 sort of definitions. One is a ghost ghoul apparition. So could this be the first time we witness a spiritual side in Bond, perhaps seeing his dead mother and father? I very much doubt it. But you never know. Or in fact, we've seen the spirit in Live and Let Die, haven't we, with Baron Samedi in a weird kind of way. But the other one was a threat, something widely feared as a possible unpleasant or dangerous occurrence. Now that seems to fit the bill a bit more, doesn't it, with the organisation and stuff like that. So I think Spectre, it's going to be an organisation, a feared organisation by the end of the film. It's going to be interesting to know how much is built, because within the world of Bond that we know at the moment, we don't know anything about Spectre. Bond doesn't know anything about Spectre. He knows about Quantum. By the end of the film, he's going to know what Spectre is. So how he finds out is going to be that's going to be probably one of the most interesting points about the whole film. Is how he discovers Spectre and how he finds out what it is.
One thing I've thought about is, I tell you what, I was thinking about the reveal of the title when we watched that all together on the website, and we were kind of just watching the whole presentation. And I thought to myself, man, we're probably never going to have a moment like that ever again. Because if you think about how much we've all wanted Spectre back over the years, and how it's been this thing that we've told it was never going to happen, and then here it is. And there was that moment of the title forming on the screen, and then there it is, Spectre. And that is such a historic moment throughout Bond history. And I don't think there is anything like in the future, 10, 20 years in the future of Bond, there's nothing else that they could do like that is going to have that same power. Do you know what I mean?
No. Yeah, with that, I know what you mean. Basically, that's the most famous sort of organisation, the most famous sort of villain, or in terms of at least number of films and stuff like that. So I don't think it can happen again. But I still think, and I hope that they play it for the long game. So reveal a little bit in 24, big one in 25, but not they think it might be the end, but it's not the end, and then hopefully continues in whatever form in the future. But
I think what we've got to do is we've just got to be appreciative of the moment, the times we now live in, because providing the film is good, this is a historic moment to be a Bond fan that people are going to look back on in years to come.
You certainly sounded quite appreciative when we listened to your video reviews.
Yeah, I was happy with it, to say the least, wasn't I? One actually point that I've also thought about is Spectre still going to be an acronym? Is it still going to stand for Special Executive, blah, 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 blah? Or are they not? Because it's not S.P. in the logo, is it?
Yeah, but it is never that anyway, because that wouldn't make sense, because Special is SP. So straight away, that doesn't. If you had S.P. That's not right. Yeah. So anything that's been said that in the past is wrong. Figuratively, it should be Spectre, just the letters.
That's a good point.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to refer to something other than just the organisation. I'm sure,
But I'm just wondering whether that whole what Spectre stands for. Yeah. Terrorism, revenge, and extortion, whether that's going to crop up in the film, or whether that's just going to... Because I feel like some people could look at that as being a little bit cheesy in 60s as opposed to modern day,
Well, yeah, if someone sits in a chair and says that, yes. But what we haven't had, Dr. No, we hear him mention it. I think that's the only time that it is mentioned in the Bond series, when Dr. No tells Bond. But what we haven't had is seen, okay, this is Spectre at work. Now it's doing... its counterintelligence part. Now it's doing its terror part. Now it's
Yeah.
doing its extortion part. He mentions in You Only Live Twice, this is extortion is my business sort of thing. So there's one or two little threads in there, but seeing each of those strands being done is quite a cool little thing, I think.
Yeah.
It could be done quite well.
Leading
if they do,
visually rather than actually just saying it, like leading
exactly.
by actions. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think if that's definitely one way that could work if they do decide to go down that route.
Interesting. So that about wraps up the intro to today's episode. So should we crack on with the ultimate bonanza Boxing Day Bond quiz?
I think that sounds like a good idea. Yeah, let's go for it.
All right, cool. Are you excited?
I'm a bit nervous, actually.
I certainly hope we perform better than we did last time, because we didn't do very well.
No, we didn't do that bad. I don't think we did that bad. No, I think I know that while I was coming up with these, some of them I thought, okay, these aren't too bad, but other ones I thought, wow, actually, these are pretty tricky.
Yeah.
So I think we'll try and cover all bases. As
The way I was trying to do it
with
the way we've done it is I've come up with 50 questions, you've come up with 50 questions, and we're going to be posing them to each other as well as we go. So I was certainly conscious of not going because trying to get you on these questions would be very difficult. I'd have to get some really tricky ones, and I'm sure I have got you with a couple of them. But
definitely.
But in order to make the quiz fun for everybody, we've kind of got a range of difficulty questions. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to split the quiz into sections. So we've got the Sean Connery section, we've got the George section, going through all the actors. We've got the book section, we've got the music section, and we've got a quote section, a general knowledge round, and a Bond Girls round as well. So we're covering all our bases.
Fun for all the family.
Exactly, covering all our bases in bondage. So, shall we get cracking?
I think we should do, yeah.
All right, let's do it.
So I think you should fire away. I'm just going to warm up a bit.
Do some Bond stretches and get everything moving. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody ready at home? Get your pens and your papers ready.
Here we go.
Because what we're going to do is we're going to go through the 10 questions in each section. Then we're going to go back through those 10 and then answer them. So
5. Oh yeah. Sorry, 10. With
5 each. You got it. Right. So it'll be good to keep all your answers written down so you can mark them as you go. All right, it'll be like being at school again. So question number 1 in the 2014 Bumper Bond Boxing Day Bonanza quiz is
what's the first round?
Obviously, it's the Sean Connery round. Where else would you begin?
Connery. Excellent.
Question number 1 is...
Yeah.
What does Sylvia Trench say she admires about Bond just before he introduces himself?
Ooh.
Okay, so this is the casino scene. And she says she admires something about Bond just before he says the best line in all of cinema history. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Question number 2. After Bond dispatches Mr. Wint over the side of the ship, what does he say? What's his one-liner? Okay, and hopefully, Chris, if you can, when you tell me what your answer is in a moment, you can perform it with a Sean Connery accent as well. That would be nice.
Okay.
Question number 3. How many times does Bond shoot Professor Dent?
Ooh.
Which is a tricky one.
Yeah, no, it is.
Okay, so how many times does Bond shoot Professor Dent? Number 4. In You Only Live Twice, Bond visits Mr. Orsato under the alias of Mr. Fisher. What company is Mr. Fisher supposed to work for?
Oh, that's a really good one.
That is a tricky one. That's a dastardly one. So I will pose the question again. In You Only Live Twice, Bond uses the alias Mr. Fisher, who works for a certain company. What is the name of that company supposed to be? And my final question in the Sean Connery category is, why was the film version of Goldfinger banned in Israel? Okay. Now, I think you could probably get to the bottom of that if you did some deductive thinking. But there you go. Why was the film version of Goldfinger initially banned in Israel? It was lifted later on, but why was it initially banned? So those are my 5 questions. How are you feeling about that so far, Chris?
1 or 2 I quite liked. 1 or 2 were little thinkers. And one of them is an interesting one, but a good one. Very, very good one. Okay, so we'll go on to my Sean Connery round. Question 1, which is rather similar to your question, actually. In Dr. No, what is the opening line uttered by James Bond?
Wow, that is very similar. That's like the opposite side of my question, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Okay, everyone got that?
Yep.
Okay, on to question 2. In From Russia with Love, what does Grant put in Tanya's drink in the restaurant car on the Orient Express?
Oh, shit. What's that stuff called? Okay.
Yeah, got your answer? Okay,
Yeah.
so question 3. In Goldfinger, what do Bond and Goldfinger play for during the game of golf before Bond reveals the Nazi gold bar? And for an additional point, or additional half point, what was the value of that gold bar?
Oh, Jesus. Say that question again.
Okay, sorry, I'll make it better. Okay, so when Bond and Goldfinger are playing golf, before the gold bar comes out, they're playing for a certain amount. So what amount are they playing for when they play golf?
You bastard. You bastard. You've got me already. Shit.
But you can also get a half a point if you know the value of the gold bar itself. So you get half a point for each one.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's split into 2, this question. So half a point if you know what they were playing for, and half a point if you know the value of the gold bar that they sort of eventually play for.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Question 4. How does Paula Kaplan die in Thunderball? Okay, so how does Paula Kaplan die in Thunderball? Okay, and finally, my last question for the Sean Connery round is, what famous actor owned the house where Plenty O'Toole was drowned in Diamonds Are Forever?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that is, what famous actor owned the house where Plenty O'Toole was drowned in Diamonds Are Forever?
There's some good questions there, dude. Yeah.
There's some
nice
toughies.
All right.
Some
cool.
toughies, right. So are we going to go through answers now before we do the next round?
Yeah, let's go through and mark Connery, and then we'll move on to George after that. So,
Okay.
have you got your pens and pencils at the ready?
Yep, got them ready.
My question number 1 was, what does Sylvia Trench say she admires about Bond just before he introduces himself?
Your luck.
Well done.
I admire your luck, Mr. Bond. Or
Well
his
done.
luck, I should say.
Indeed.
But that was so funny that it was pretty much a similar question to mine. So your luck, that was a good one.
Question number 2 was, what does Bond say after he dispatches Mr. Wint over the side of the ship at the end of Diamonds Are Forever?
Right. Now, I don't know if I've got this
Okay.
right. Exactly right. I'll give it a go. I think he left with his tail between his legs.
I'm going to give you that. He said he certainly left with his tail between his legs. But that's good.
That's very kind of you.
Yeah.
He certainly left. Oh, yeah.
Cool, good stuff. That's 2 out of 2 so far. Question number 3 is, how many times does Bond shoot Dent in Dr. No?
Do you know what? I almost got this definitely wrong because the first thing that I wrote down was what I think quite a few people might have written down.
Okay.
Which I don't think is the right answer.
Okay.
Do you want to know what that is, or should I just
go on?
Right, 6 times.
Right.
I wrote 6 because obviously you've had your 6. But then I thought, well, wait a minute. How many times does Bond actually shoot Dent? And I think it's twice.
Well done. It is only twice. Because for whatever reason, I remembered it being a lot more. I thought it was like 3 or 4. And then when I watched the scene, it was like, oh shit, it's actually only twice.
I think he shoots him once like in the chest and one, it looks like it goes in his arse.
Once in his chest and once up his back door. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to fucking make sure, shoot him in the arsehole. Have that then. Anyway, number 4 is in You Only Live Twice, under the alias of Mr. Fisher. What company is Mr. Fisher supposed to work for?
I believe this is Empire Chemicals.
Well done. I thought I was going to have you on that. Good stuff.
Yeah,
100% mark so far. And then finally, question 5 was, why was Goldfinger banned in Israel?
No, I think I remember this. And I think it was falsely, like basically whoever it was in Israel who banned it had heard falsely that he was a Nazi sympathiser during the war.
Who was?
Gert Frobe, sorry.
Okay.
Gert Frobe, who plays Goldfinger, was supposedly a Nazi sympathiser during the war, but that was then proved completely wrong, and subsequently the ban on the film was lifted and they were able to play, which is good because obviously he seemed like a nice chap.
Yeah. Well, what it was, you're more or less there. Basically, it came out that Gert Frobe had been a member of the Nazi Party during World War II, and I believe he actually was, like when he was like 16.
He was,
but he wasn't like a nasty bastard with it. And basically, what happened afterwards that helped with the lifting of the ban was that a Jewish family publicly thanked him for protecting them during the war, and basically he'd helped them hide from the Gestapo. So he certainly wasn't if he was a member of the party, he certainly wasn't a Nazi in practice. No. So he was. I think I should only get half marks for that because I didn't get the Jewish family and stuff about that. All right.
So
Well, you didn't need that. It's just a member of the Nazi Party would have got the point.
All right then.
So you're all right. You got 100 marks. You got 5 out of 5. Now my performance is not going to be as good. But go on. Let's hear your questions again.
Okay, so question 1 was very similar to Tom's first question, and this was, in Dr. No, what is the opening line uttered by James Bond? The very first line he ever says in the whole series.
I admire your courage, miss.
Awesome. Well done, man. Excellent. Brilliant stuff. I hope everyone did well with that one. Question 2, in From Russia with Love, what does Grant put in Tanya's drink in the restaurant car on the Orient Express?
Do I need the actual chemical name of what it is?
The answer I've put down as the chemical name, but if you can, because
I can't remember what they refer to it as in From Russia with Love. The only one I can remember is what he mentions in Living Daylights when he gets drugged and he falls down. Do you know what? Go on.
That might potentially be the same thing.
Is it chloral hydrate?
It is chloral hydrate! Come on! Yeah,
nice.
Oh, nice one, Tommy boy.
Right.
Chloral hydrate. I literally was going to say, and Cara used that on Bondian in Living Daylights. Well done,
nice.
man.
I'm happy with that.
Well, good.
Okay.
Well, really good. Okay, so question 3. In Goldfinger, what did Bond and Goldfinger play for during the game of golf? So basically, this is split into 2. So how much do they play for when they're playing golf? And then when the gold bar comes out, what's the value of that gold bar? So part A, what do you think?
I'm stumped on this. I'm going to guess and I'm going to say £5 a point.
No, not on that one, unfortunately. Okay. If I gave you a little hint, perhaps it might help. It's something a hole. So they were playing for something per hole.
A shilling a hole!
Yes! A shilling a hole! Well done!
Do I get that point or not? Because I fucked up the first one.
I reckon you get... Yeah, no... Well, you got it when I said the hole, didn't you? Yeah,
right.
Go on.
Right.
We're
Thanks,
being lenient in this one, I think. You gave me without the Jewish family, so I'm giving you in the
shilling
the
a hole. Cool, thank you.
Nice one. Well done. Okay, so the second half of the point was, how much was the gold bar worth?
Now, this is where I'm stumped again.
So you've got to think back to the meeting in the bank with Smithers when he says it's worth.
I for some reason, I've got a number in the back of my head. Is it £100,000?
No, not quite that much. But you know when you said it was £5 a hole?
Yeah.
That 5 was ringing something up there.
£5,000?
Yes, £5,000. £5,000. But you still get the half mark for that
So I
one.
get half a point. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay, so this one is interesting. Question 4. In Thunderball, how does Paula Kaplan die?
She commits suicide, doesn't she, with a cyanide capsule?
Brilliant. Hey, nice one, Tom. Now, this is interesting. I feel I'd just expand on this just a little bit because... she's not the only one to have committed suicide by eating a cyanide capsule, is she?
She's certainly not. No. Well, I know somebody who attempted to, but it didn't quite work out.
It didn't. No, you're right. And he had a rather dodgy face afterwards, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he certainly did.
But Mr. Jones in Dr. No took a cyanide tablet that was hidden in his cigarette.
Yeah.
Obviously, you mentioned Raul Silva. And in Kwang in License to Kill, when Bond's about to shoot him and he gets taken out by the ninjas and then the army turns up and Kwang takes a cyanide pill there. And the funniest one probably is from Live and Let Die, when Bond is sort of schmoozing Rosie, and she sort of says about Felix Leiter, and he said, "Oh, what did good Felix say?" And she said, "If all else fails, cyanide pills." So to stop Bond's advances. So there we are.
Absolutely.
I thought that was a cool little link there.
Just as another thing with cyanide capsules in the books, he always, whenever he gets issued a cyanide tablet, he always chucks them away.
And I rightly so. Well,
because he's too hard. Even if he gets tortured, he doesn't give a shit. He's too hard for it.
He's rock, isn't he? We've seen that. We've seen that. He's rock. Okay. And question 5: what famous actor owned the house where Plenty O'Toole was drowned in Diamonds Are Forever?
I'm not 100% on this. I think it's a guess. It's an intelligent guess. I think. Hopefully, it is. Is it Frank Sinatra?
That is a good guess, but it is Kirk Douglas.
I wouldn't have got that.
Yeah, Michael Douglas's dad. All right, that was actually a very, very tricky one. But you got. So what did you get for that round?
I got 3.5 out of 5.
3.5. But that one was an extremely solid one. That one.
Cool. You got 5 out of 5. I've got 3.5 out of 5. So, all right. I'm going to get you in the later rounds, man. I can feel it.
Yeah, I know.
All right, cool. Hopefully everybody at home has done well in that round. So moving on, we're onto the Lazenby round. Yeah. Lazenby.
Flames, explosion, fire, Lazenby.
Okay, so you ready, Chris? You got your pen and your pencil ready?
Oh, yeah, ready. Good to go.
Okay, so question number 1. I think this might be my favourite question in the entire game. Yeah. Do you know how Christmas trees are grown? According to the greatest Christmas song ever written, what ingredients do Christmas trees require in order to grow?
That's amazing. That is amazing. Wait a minute.
Okay, I'm going to give you some time, obviously, because there's several answers involved in that. I'll just pose the question again for anybody who missed it. Do you know how Christmas trees are grown? According to the greatest Christmas song ever written, what ingredients do Christmas trees require in order to grow?
Do you know how many there are?
I certainly do.
Okay, all right. I'll have to come back to that
I might give you some clues when we get around to the answer.
I think I might have 1, possibly 2, but I'll see. Okay.
All right, cool. Okay, question number 2 is, what is the name of the mountain on which Piz Gloria was built?
Ooh, good one. Very good one.
That is, what is the name of the mountain on which Piz Gloria was built?
I like the way you say Piz.
Piz. Number 3. Which Bond director had the job of editor on Her Majesty's Secret Service?
Ooh.
He went on to direct some Bond films.
You were just about to say what they were.
But he was the editor on Majesty's. So who was that? Number 4, David De Keyser provided the voice for Marc-Ange Draco in Majesty's. What other Bond film did he appear in? So the guy that provided the voiceover for Marc-Ange Draco actually appeared in another Bond film. And what was that film?
Okay. It's getting tricky.
And then question 5 is, how many Angels of Death are there?
Well, you got some good, tough questions for this one.
It is a tough round, isn't it? Okay, so flipping it on its head, let's hear your questions, Christy
Right,
Pants.
here are my Georgie boy questions. So, we'll start with question 1. Who, according to Bond, is Britain's last line of defence?
Good,
okay.
Yeah.
Question 1. Who, according to Bond, is Britain's last line of defence?
Okay, good.
Okay, question 2. When Bond meets the girls in Piz Gloria, what drink does he order? When Bond meets the girls in Piz Gloria, what drink does he order?
Oh, man, that's a toughie. Okay, go on. Next one.
Okay. Question 3. Where is Ruby Bartlett from? I'll say that again. So question 3 is, whereabouts is Ruby Bartlett from?
Now, is that, do you want a county or is it a specific town?
I'd go with either county or town. I'd give a point for either or.
Okay.
Or a point and a pat on the back if you get both.
All right, cool.
Okay, question 4. Can you name, this is an interesting one. Can you name 2 of the 5 locations Bond and Tracy consider moving to after he proposes and prior to wondering how much they'd ask for the barn?
Oh, okay. Just ask that question again just so I can get it right in my mind.
So I'll try and ask it in a more sort of colloquial way. So basically, when Bond proposes to Tracy and they're in the barn, there are a number of places that they consider that they'd like to move to. 5 places were mentioned. Mm-hmm. Some of these might potentially be countries. Some of them might be actual places. Can you name 2 of the 5 locations mentioned?
Okay. That's a tough one, that is.
Yeah.
Isn't it annoying? Like a lot of these questions, I know it's somewhere in my brain, but it's just like,
you just got to play the film without playing the film.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, this is an interesting one. What does Draco say the helicopters are carrying when they approach Peace Gloria?
Okay.
So, in fact, there are 3, possibly 4 potential answers here. All of them would be correct. So, in a way, this is quite a good question because any one of those could be the right answer. And if anyone got all 4, then they're freaking amazing.
All right, cool. So let's wind it back then. So it's answer time. So marking round for the George round.
Right, okay.
Do you know how Christmas trees are grown?
Right. Probably not fully, but I know that 2 of the ingredients are sunshine and raindrops.
You do have to provide the answer in song form as well. So that's part of it. Yeah.
So how many were there?
5.
Flecking hell. Sunshine and raindrops. Oh my God, what is it? Love? Is that one?
It is.
No, that's
most
later.
of all.
Oh, it is.
Most of all.
Most of all. They need love. Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the other 2? So I got 3. Sunshine and raindrops.
They need sunshine and raindrops. But most of all,
they need love. Oh my God, that's so tricky. Oh my God, why have I not listened to this song recently? Sunshine and raindrops. Man, I'm gonna have to just give you the 3 for now, and if it pops into my head before I. Oh no, you tell me the answer now, don't you?
I do.
Okay, so yeah, I've got 3. Sorry.
They need sunshine and raindrops, friendship and kindness.
Oh, friendship and kindness.
But most of all, they need love.
So I get a half mark?
You get a half mark because you got 3 out of 5, so that's not bad.
Cool.
Any less than 3 out of 5 listeners at home, you don't get half a mark.
Okay, so I got half a mark for that one. God, that's a brilliant question, though. I love that question.
That question popped into my mind when I was just listening to that song, and I was like, that was the first question I conceived for this quiz. I was like, I'm going to have one on that.
That's brilliant.
Number 2, what is the name of the mountain on which Peace Gloria was built?
I believe it is Mount Shilthorn.
You got it, yep. Or Skilthorn, I don't know quite how you pronounce it, to be honest, but whatever.
Skilthorn, yeah.
Question number 3, who was the editor on Her Majesty's Secret Service?
This was the brilliant John Glenn.
Absolutely. Good old Casper Ingalls met him recently, didn't he? At the
he did,
From
that's
Shooting
right.
with Love event. Sounds like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Number 4, David de Keyser provided the voice for Mark-Ange Draco in On Her Majesty's. What other Bond film did he appear in?
Now, this one is a really, really good question. And I believe it is Diamonds Are Forever.
It is. And do you know who he played?
I think he was the dentist, the one who got the diamonds out of the miners?
No,
And obviously-
he was one
No.
of
Which one
Blofeld's
was he?
white-coated doctors.
Oh, white-coated doctor, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, the dentist was someone else.
But you didn't need that to the point. It
No.
was just diamonds. That's all I wanted. And finally, how many angels of death are there?
Wish I could line them up in front of me now just to double check.
Ooh,
I'd
as do
say
I.
I think there were 12.
Well done. Absolutely. I thought I'd catch you out on that one as well. So what's that? 4.5 for you?
Yeah, 4.
You're
4.5
gonna
for that
kick
one.
my ass on this quiz, man. You really are.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Right. Okay. So back to my ones for George. Okay. So question 1 was, who, according to Bond, is Britain's last line of defence?
Moneypenny.
Yeah. Excellent. Lovely. Yeah. I hope everyone at home did well with that one. Okay. So yeah. Question 2. When Bond meets the girls, what drink does he order? Now, if anyone's been looking at the Facebook page recently, I put on a photo, one of the Christmas photos, and I actually mentioned this answer, and it only went on in the last few, not long ago, the last few days.
Yeah, I'm stumped on this one. I'm gonna I know this is wrong, but I'm just gonna say it. Unless you've got a clue for me.
Okay, so it's something and something.
Is
so
it
it's-
a whiskey and branch water?
Yes!
No
malt whiskey,
way!
yeah!
You're kidding
malt
me.
whiskey and branch water. Come on, man! Awesome.
I just shit my pants again. How about that?
Pull that out of the bag.
Yeah.
That was great. Nicely done.
Wow. I'm
Great answer.
again, like I was saying, that was just in the back of my mind somewhere.
Yeah.
And wicked.
That's
All right,
good.
cool.
I
I'm
like
happy
it.
with that.
Okay, so question 3. Where is Ruby Bartlett from?
Is she from Lancashire?
She is.
Okay.
Brilliant stuff. Could you hazard a guess as to what part of Lancashire?
I couldn't tell you any places that are in Lancashire, so it's on my head, so no.
It was Morecambe Bay, actually.
Ah, yeah,
Morecambe Bay.
rings a bell now.
No, it was a point for either one, so superb on that one.
Nice.
Okay, so this is an interesting one. Can you name 2 of the 5 locations that Bond and Tracy consider moving to after he proposes and prior to wondering how much they'd ask for the barn? So basically, if you get 1... Now, is that better? Yeah, I was going to say, if you get 1, then you get half mark. If you get 2, then you get full mark. If you get more than that, then you're doing well.
I am just guessing on these, to be honest with you. Is Paris one of them?
Paris is 1. Brilliant.
Rome?
Rome, Via Vento in Rome is brilliant. Keep going.
Okay, cool. That's the only 2 I had.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, the other 3 potentially were Acacia Avenue, Tunbridge Wells.
Of course it was, yeah.
Belgrave Square was
Okay.
another. And the last one was Monaco.
Ah, very
That's
nice.
it, Monaco. But
Yeah.
brilliant. You got your 2 marks. So
Cool.
you got your 4 marks there for your 2 answers.
Well, I got
Superb.
2 answers, so I got 1 mark just for
Yeah,
for
so you got
listeners
your
at
4
home.
marks, sorry.
Cool.
Yeah, so you
Okay,
got
good
1
stuff.
mark because you got 2 answers. Okay, so finally, what does Draco say the helicopters are carrying when they approach Peace Gloria?
Blood plasma.
Yeah, that's a good one. So you could have had any of the following answers: Red Cross medical supplies, blood plasma and emergency equipment, or distinguished representatives of the world press.
Of course. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So did you get 5 out of 5 on
I
that
did,
one?
yeah.
Stonking round, man. Awesome.
And what did you get? You got 4.5 out of 5. Didn't you?
I got 4.5 on that one. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Excellent
Um,
stuff.
This, just before we go into the next round, this is something that I noticed, which I'll just quickly throw in here. You know, in the film where he sort of says about when he's offered the dowry from Draco, and he said her price is far above rubies or even your £1 million. So straight away you're thinking rubies, gems.
Yeah.
But I thought, what if he meant rubies referring to Ruby Bartlett and Ruby Bartlett referring to one-night stands and women that he doesn't mind? So it's almost like he's saying that her price, meaning Tracy, is far above Ruby Bartlett type people, i.e. one-night stands that he doesn't care about.
Yeah.
So her price is far above Ruby's.
There you
What
go.
do you think?
Maybe. That's a question for Helfenstein. I bet Helfenstein could answer that one
yeah,
for us.
Helfenstein. Yeah, he'd
absolutely.
like it, wouldn't he?
He'd
Yeah.
know
So-
the score.
Yeah, so I think it might have been. You never know, but it's just one of those things that popped into my head when I was...
A nice little observation. Okay, so it's on to the Roger category.
Good old Rog. I like Rog.
Yeah, me too. Good old Rog. So
I can't wait to review him as well in our new year. He's the next lot of films, isn't he?
yeah, it's going to be good. A new year and a new Bond. It's going to be good to get stuck into some Rog.
Yeah.
So, question number 1 in the Roger Moore category. Pens at the ready, everybody.
Okie dokie. Far away.
Question number 1. What make and model was Scaramanga's flying car?
Ooh.
So, what make and model was Scaramanga's flying car? Question number 2. What nickname did the crew give to Bond's Lotus submarine? What nickname did the crew on Spy Who Loved Me give to Bond's Lotus submarine? Question number 3. In which film do we see Roger enter Moneypenny's office carrying the old school iconic Trilby hat?
Ooh, that's a good one.
In which film do we see Roger entering Moneypenny's office carrying the iconic Trilby hat? Question number 4. Which American actor was almost cast as Bond in A View to a Kill until Roger decided to come back for one more?
Can you say that one again?
Which American actor was almost cast as Bond in A View to a Kill until Roger decided to come back for one more? His screen test can be seen on some of the DVDs, actually. I can't remember which DVD it is, but it's on one of them. And finally, which legendary film director helped out by supervising the lighting on the set of the supertanker at the end of The Spy Who Loved Me? Happened to be a personal friend of Ken Adams. Which legendary film director helped out by supervising the lighting on the set of the supertanker at the end of Spy?
That's a solid round.
It is a solid round, isn't it? Some toughies. Yeah.
Okay, right.
Flip it round.
On to Rog. Okay. This is an interesting one. Now, I might have to rephrase this.
Okay.
Oh, maybe not. How many... Yeah, I will have to. Okay, what were the 3 lovers' lessons from Live and Let Die? So, if you get 1 or 2... Do you remember Lover's Lesson... Bond when he's speaking to Solitaire?
Is the time for lesson number 3?
So...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, if you get... Okay, so there are 3... If you get, should we say, 1, you get a half mark, and 2, you get a full mark. If you get all 3, then you're a star. Okay?
Okay.
And that's quite a tricky one.
That is a very tricky one.
In Moonraker, how many G's does Holly Goodhead say will be fatal? So question 2 is, in Moonraker, how many G's does Holly Goodhead say will be fatal? Okay,
yeah.
Question 3. In For Your Eyes Only, where was Countess Liesel supposedly from, and where was she actually from? So again, we get a half mark for each answer. So in For Your Eyes Only, where was Countess Liesel supposedly from, and where was she actually from?
All right, okay. Is that a country or a city we're talking there?
One is a country and one is a city. So I want the country where she's supposedly from, but the city from where she's actually from.
Okay.
Okay. Question 4. What Fleming title, aside from Octopussy, is mentioned in the film Octopussy?
What Fleming title... apart from
So,
yeah.
So the question again, question 4. What Fleming title, aside from Octopussy, is mentioned in the film Octopussy?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Question 5. In A View to a Kill, what does KGB agent and General Gogo colleague Klotkov say to Max Zorin what he would be without them? So basically, one of General Gogo's mates, KGB agent, is called Klotkov.
Yeah.
He says to Max Zorin what he'd be without the KGB. And what does he say? Again, there are two possible answers, but if you get either one, you'll get your mark.
Okay.
And if you get two, you'll see.
This round has kicked my ass. It really has
why
kicked
is
my ass.
Why has Roger been so tricky?
Yeah. All right, cool. Okay, so let's flip it back round then. So we're going to go for the marking round.
Right.
So question number 1 from me was, what make and model was Scaramanga's flying car?
Now, I remember, I think it was the AMC Matador.
Absolutely right. Well done.
See, well, I kind of remember the AMC, but with the other AMC, I knew one was Matador and one wasn't.
Okay.
But luckily I got that one.
Yeah, nice work. Number 2, what nickname did the crew give to Bond's Lotus submarine?
It was affectionately referred to as Wet Nelly.
It certainly was.
Which is cool. It would have been quite nice to have heard that in the film, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Would you have liked it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
maybe,
I could imagine.
Just as a one-off with Q. Or
yeah. I could have heard Desmond referring to that. The boys in the lab call it Wet Nelly.
Yeah.
Question number 3. In which film do we see Roger enter Moneypenny's office carrying the iconic Trilby hat?
You've got me on this one, man. Yeah, I think you've got me on this one. I am going to have to say I haven't got time to play them all. Is it Moneypenny's office, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Flip, you got me. I'm going to have to say A View to a Kill.
Good guess, because he wears the top hat, doesn't he, at the races?
Yeah, it's not. Don't say Octopussy.
It's Octopussy.
No, that was my. I had written 2 down, and that's the other one that I'd written down. Oh man, what an idiot!
There we go. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so question number 4: which American actor was almost cast as Bond in A View to a Kill until Roger decided to come back for one more?
I think it was this guy. Was it John Gavin?
Sadly, not.
No, he was one of the early ones.
It was James Brolin.
Oh, that's the other guy I was thinking of.
Yeah. Weirdly, you can see a screen test on the thing, and he does his lines in an American accent. There's no...
Does he?
Like,
no attempt to...
yeah, really strange.
Ooh, not doing this one's hard.
And then finally, which legendary film director helped out by supervising the lighting on the set of the supertanker at the end of Spy Who Loved Me?
Well, this was Stanley Kubrick.
Well done. It was indeed. So what's your score from this round?
Only got 3 for that one.
3. Okay. Well, you're going to still kick my ass on this one. Okay, let's hear yours again.
Okay, so... how many of the lover's lessons from Live and Let Die can you remember? So if you get 1, then you get half a mark. If you get 2, you get the full mark. If you get 3, then you're on it. This is hard though. Yeah,
do you know what? All I can hear in my mind when I play this scene back is her saying, "Is it time for lesson number 3 or something?" And he says, "There's no sense in going off half-cocked."
Yeah. So and lesson number 3 is...
Is that what it is? Not going off half-cocked?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, lesson number 3 is getting it on, obviously.
Okay.
That's what she's referring to. So he does mention what lesson number 1 and lesson number 2 is, but it's very...
Yeah, I'm fucked. I can't get it.
Okay, so lesson number 1 is we have no secrets.
Okay.
And lesson number 2 is togetherness till death do us part. Or thereabouts.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got that. Yeah.
No secrets together. But that's super duper hard, that one. So you get a half mark because you knew what lesson number 3 was.
Oh no! Because that's not a lesson though. I don't think I deserve a mark for that because she says it's the time for lesson number 3, and he says, "Well, there's no sense in going off half-cocked." Yeah. So that's not a lesson though, is it?
No, but lesson number 3 is referring to them getting it on, and you knew that, didn't you?
I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not going to take a mark for that.
No, you're taking a half a mark, definitely.
All right.
You're taking half a mark.
All right, I've got half a mark then. All right, cool.
Okay, so question 2. In Moonraker, how many G's does Holly Goodhead say will be fatal?
This is a complete guess. I'm going to go with 5.
No. This one, she says 20 G's is fatal, but most people pass out at 7. But Bond
okay.
Bond is cracking on until 14 or something. No, but this is tricky. Okay,
Yeah.
This is tricky as well. Although you might get one of these. Okay, in For Your Eyes Only, where was Countess Liesel supposedly from? What country? And where was she actually from? What city? You get a full mark if you get either of those.
Austria.
Yes.
Oh, that was a
Brilliant.
complete guess.
Yeah. Well
okay,
done, man.
Cool.
So you get your full mark. Any ideas at guessing what city she is actually from?
I don't know. Manchester.
Oh, close. Liverpool.
Is it really? Shut
Yeah.
up.
No, but that's the actual dialogue from the film.
Yeah.
Bond says Manchester. She says no, close Liverpool.
Well, there you go. There's my subconscious brain just registering that without me really knowing what that was.
Yeah, that's great.
So that was a full mark for either or of those, was it?
Yeah, full
Okay.
mark. So you got a full mark.
Okay.
So question 4. What Fleming title, aside from Octopussy, is mentioned in the film Octopussy?
The property of a lady.
Yes, lovely jubbly. That's good stuff. Another full mark there. Finally, question 5. In A View to a Kill, what does the KGB agent Klokov say to Max Zorin what he would be without the KGB?
I'm just going to have a guess and say lost.
Oh, no, not with that one. There are 2 potentials here. Either one. A biological experiment. A physiological freak.
Oh,
Remember him saying that?
yeah, I do.
He says it, and
Yeah.
then when he says that, Mayday sort of basically picks him up and has him above her shoulders.
Yeah.
But that was a solid round. Roger,
That was a tough one.
Why was Roger so hard?
The problem is for me is especially those last few Roger films are the ones I've watched the least out of the whole series. So
we'll
is
get
a
you
tough
on
one
those.
for me. But yeah,
We'll get
absolutely.
you on
As we go through, it's going to be Roger time at James Bond Radio soon.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
so good stuff. So let's have a little recap on the scores. No, in fact, let's not recap on the scores because it'll be more of a surprise at the end.
Yeah, and we've got ages to go anyway.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so it's Timothy Dalton round.
It is indeed.
So,
Timmy D.
are you ready? Pens at the ready?
Yep. pens
Question
ready.
number 1. In The Living Daylights, what comedic mode of transport was used, then later scrapped, from the rooftop chase after Bond assassinates Pushkin? Okay, so in that rooftop chase, after he fake assassinates Pushkin, he was going to use a somewhat comedic mode of transport that was filmed, and you can see the stills from it, but they later scrapped it. Question number 2. In The Living Daylights, where does good old Mickey G. Wilson make his cameo appearance?
Ooh, that's a really good one.
So in The Living Daylights, where do we see Michael G. Wilson's cameo appearance? Number 3. Where have we seen the gasworks supervisor before? He starred in another.
That's a good one.
He starred in another Bond movie, and
Yeah.
I would like to know what that film is. And you get extra respect if you know his character name. So the gasworks supervisor at the beginning of Living Daylights. Question number 4. What does Bond say to Q after he realises he won't be sharing a room with Pam Bouvier? So that's where Q comes out on his holiday time to come and sort Bond out with some toothpaste. And he's in the hotel room. What does Bond say to Q after he realises Bouvier is going to be sleeping alone that night? And then question number 5. What is engraved on Bond's lighter given to him by Della and Felix? You could call it Felix's lighter. couldn't you?
Hey. God, that's...
It's a tough round.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Right, I think he's snagged me on a couple of that one.
Okay.
Okay, so here are my 5 questions for Mr. Timmy D. So question number 1. In The Living Daylights, what is the name of the cafe near the Ferris wheel where Bond meets Saunders? So question 1. What is the name of the cafe near the Ferris wheel where Bond meets Saunders?
Shit, that's tough. Is that ever actually mentioned?
Yeah, it's a famous-ish cafe in terms of
Okay.
thing, and Yeah. So this is in Vienna.
Okay.
Question 2. Having retired from the KGB, what is General Gogol's role at the end of The Living Daylights? I.e., who does he work for?
Fuck. I've drawn a blank on both of those so far.
But well, when we go through them again,
Yeah.
it might think. So question 3. In License to Kill, what does Felix give Pam Bouvier at his wedding?
What does Felix give Pam Bouvier at his wedding?
Yeah. So I'll say that again. Question 3. In License to Kill, Pam comes to meet Felix in his office, and Bond kind of stumbles in on them. What does Felix give Pam during that meeting at his wedding?
Okay.
Question 4. How much was Kilifer paid to help free Sanchez? So, just need the full amount. So, question 4. How much was Kilifer paid to help free Sanchez?
Okay.
Finally, question 5. What does Bond call himself when offering his services to Sanchez? So, question 5 is, what does Bond call himself when offering his services to Sanchez? Okay, there are 5. This is a hard round as well.
This is a stinker round. It really is. Like, again, like for me, I haven't seen License to Kill in a long time. So that's an especially tricky one for me. I've seen Living Daylights obviously pretty recently, but yeah. All right, cool. Let's flip it around then. So my questions to you were, question 1, in The Living Daylights, after Bond fake assassinates Pushkin, what comedic mode of transport was used, then later scrapped from the rooftop chase?
Now this was a magic flying carpet, which he put on some sort of telegraph wires to sort of go down.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a really cool idea, but they said it was too slow to use in the film, which I think it probably was.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can see the images of that. It's basically like a rug laid out on some telegraph wires, and they were supposed to sit, which kind of it sounds a bit like the whole cello case thing anyway, doesn't it? It's a similar sort of idea. True. So cool. So a magic carpet. Question number 2, where does Mickey G make his cameo appearance in Living Daylights? That's Michael G. Wilson.
No, I think this is he's in the audience at the concert hall when Bond takes Cara Milovi.
When Bond takes Cara Milovi.
Yeah, so not the one at the end, but the one sort of in the middle of the film when he's sitting sort of a few seats down from Bond and Cara. Or is that wrong?
He's in the audience during the performance at the beginning when Koskov defects.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's my bad then. I got the wrong way around.
So I think you get half a point for that because he was in an audience of a concert. So
yeah, it's going on at one point or another. Yeah. All right. Cool. Cheers.
Number 3, where have we seen the gasworks supervisor before?
Now, I hadn't ever thought about this, and some guy popped into my head, and I just saw his face, and I hope this is right. This is a guess, because I really don't know this one, but I hope it's right. And I think it's one of the science blokes from the lab in Moonraker, when he goes in and he knocks the file off, and it goes...
Well, I've schooled you again, Chris, because it's not. I'm afraid not. I'm afraid it's not. He's in Octopussy.
Which is he in Octopussy?
He's Lenkin in Octopussy.
Oh, he is Lenkin, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. But so he's definitely not the lab guy as well in Moonraker.
He might be. I don't know. Yeah,
no, I don't think
that,
he is.
But
no,
I don't think
Lenkin.
He is, no. So yeah, there he is. The gasworks supervisor in Living Daylights was Lenkin in Octopussy as well. Isn't it funny? I'd never ever noticed that until I came up with this question. Number 4, what does Bond say to Q after he realises he won't be sharing a room with Pam Bouvier?
This is a good one. hope you don't snork, you.
There it is.
Yeah.
I hope you don't snork, you. And then my final Timothy question is, what is engraved on Bond's lighter given to him by Della and Felix?
This is a good one as well. I think it was James, love always, Della and Felix.
Fucking well done, man. Impressive. That was exactly to the T.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Good stuff.
that's good.
So what did you score there?
Only 1, 2, 3.5 I got on that round.
Okay.
No, Tim round is tough as well.
Yeah. Okay. So, right, let's hear your questions again. This is going to absolutely kick my ass this round.
Right. Okay. So we've got question 1. In the Living Daylights, what is the name of the cafe near the Ferris wheel where Bond meets Saunders?
I'm going to do a complete guess and say Cafe Vienna.
It's the Prater Cafe.
Well, I would have never got
Does
that
that
in a
ring any
million
bells?
years.
No. That was... All right, that's a bit of... Maybe that one was a bit silly then, perhaps. Apologies.
Any one that I get wrong is a silly question as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, here's an interesting one. Having retired from the KGB, who is General Gogol working for at the end of The Living Daylights?
I would like, to be honest, just from knowing Gogol through the years, I would like to think that he's got a lovely little job working in a garden centre somewhere.
He has... Well, okay, let's think about this. he probably does that on the side. Okay, so when he's at the end of Living Daylights, do you remember what he does?
Do you know what? I don't. I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Well, he manages to sort out a passport for Kara so she can come and go. And basically, he works for the Russian Foreign Service. So he can help her, because she's a defector, but now she can go in and out. But that was another... tricky one.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Question 3. In License to Kill, oh my god, this one is super difficult as well. What does Felix give Pam Bouvier at his wedding?
Again, this is... I'm so shit on this round. All I can remember is that CD that ends up behind the picture frame. So is it a CD?
No, but that is a super guess. I think you should get... I think whoever guesses the CD should get a half mark because... although that's not what I was thinking, that is in that scene.
You're too nice, man. You're just trying to give me points when I don't deserve them. Go on.
No, because the CD is good. So I think half mark for the CD, definitely, because he puts the CD behind the picture, doesn't he? He gives her a letter granting Hela immunity if he gets the stingers back. Missiles back.
Yeah, I'm
but
not going to take. It is. I'm not going to take a point for the CD because he doesn't give it to. Because he doesn't give it to her. It's his that he puts. It's nothing to do with him giving it to her. So I'm not taking a point.
No.
I've put my foot down.
But I must say that is probably one of the trickiest questions because you only find out what he gives her later on in the film.
Yeah.
So. When Bond sees Pam in the office with Hela, he thinks she's working with him.
Yeah.
And then when he gets back to the hotel, he chucks her on the bed and takes her gun and threatens her. And then she mentions that Leiter gave her a letter granting Hela immunity. So that one was really, really tricky. Very tricky, that one. Okay, question 4. How much was... Sorry.
There's a very strong possibility I'm going to get 0 out of 5 in this round. But anyway, go on, carry on.
This one, they are all super, super tricky ones. Question 4, how much was Kilifer paid to help free Sanchez? So this was now the briefcase full of money.
Yeah, I know, and I can hear him saying, I'll split it with you.
Yeah.
But it's a guess.
And I tell you what, it's a hell of a chunk of dough, this amount. That's what they say. That's what it says.
I'm going to have a guess and say $250,000.
No, it was actually 20. It was actually $2 million. All in 20s.
Yeah, no worries. That's all right. Okay, that's a tough one.
That's another tricky one. Okay, and finally, what does Bond call himself when offering his services to Sanchez?
A problem eliminator.
Yeah! Come on! That's what I'm talking about. Brilliant.
1 out of 5. Bosh, Tommy's on fire.
That's awesome, man. That was like a proper good answer. I like that.
You're too kind.
Right.
All right, cool. So,
Right.
moving on. Next up,
Oh, goodness.
hopefully I can bring it back with the Pierce round.
You're good with Brosnan. I remember you got 5 out of 5 last time, I think, with Brosnan.
So, question 1 in the Brosnan round is, which Pierce Brosnan film features a cameo by Roger Moore's daughter?
Ooh. Can you say that one again?
Yeah, which Brosnan film features a cameo role from Roger Moore's daughter? And you get bonus respect if you can say what role she played as well. Okay. Number 2, during the casino scene in GoldenEye, Bond says to Xenia, "It appears we share the same passions. 3 of them anyway." Xenia replies, "I count 2. What are the 2 passions that she names?" I will pose that question again. During the casino scene in GoldenEye, Bond says to Xenia on a top, "It appears we share the same passions. 3 of them anyway." And Xenia replies with, "I count 2. And what are the 2 that she counts?
You do that Brosnan so well.
Thanks, man. That's through years of practice as a 13-year-old boy just trying to be him in front of the mirror.
Nice.
Number 3, when Dr. Kaufman asks Bond to open his car door to unlock his car, Bond tells him a certain combination of buttons on his mobile phone will do it. What is that combination? "I will shoot you from Stuttgart and get the proper effect." So one more time. Dr. Kaufman asks Bond to unlock his car. Bond tells him a certain combination of buttons on his mobile phone will do it. What is that combination? Okay. Number 4. What is the name of the doctor Bond seduces in order to get a clean bill of health in The World Is Not Enough? So after he obviously damages his arm, falling from the hot air balloon, he goes to get a clean bill of health from the MI6 doctor. What is the name of that doctor? And then finally, number 5, how does Xenia on the top take her vodka martini? How does Xenia on the top take her vodka martini?
Good solid round.
Okay.
Some of those straight away, some of those little quick thinking ones.
Yeah.
Not bad. Right, okay, so here we are. My round for Pierce. Okay, so question 1. In GoldenEye, what, according to Bond, was not exactly Britain's finest hour? So question 1, in GoldenEye, what, according to Bond, was not exactly Britain's finest hour? Okay. Question 2, what was the code name used by Robinson in the pre-titles of Tomorrow Never Dies? So question 2, what was a code name used by Robinson in the pre-titles of Tomorrow Never Dies?
You son of a bitch. That is so on my mind.
It'll probably come.
Okay.
Okay,
go on.
All right. Okay, so question 3.
Yeah.
What famous actor was originally offered the role of Elliot Carver in Tomorrow Never Dies, but left after 3 days due to his despair at the chaos of having an unfinished script? So I'll say that again. Question 3. What famous actor was originally offered the role of Elliot Carver, but so he was actually on set for 3 days, but left after 3 days due to his despair at the chaos of having an unfinished script?
Okay.
Question 4. What game does Electra King play in Valentin Tchaikovsky's Casino, and how does Bond try to help her? So you can get half a mark for each one. What game does Electra King play in Valentin Tchaikovsky's Casino, in The World Is Not Enough, and how does Bond try to help her? Okay.
How does Bond try to help her?
Yeah. So Bond does something to try and help her.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
hold on. I just need a moment just to gather my mind, because I know what that is. I just need to gather my thoughts. Hold on.
All right. You get a half mark for each one. Okay. So what game does Electra King play in Valentin Tchaikovsky's Casino, and how does Bond try to help her? Half mark for each.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And finally, question 5. Now, this is extremely hard and perhaps a bit too hard, although you might know. How does the title Die Another Day link to Fleming? So how does the title Die Another Day link to Fleming?
Shit.
That is a tough one. That is a really tough one.
All right, that is, yeah. No, I'm stumped on that one. All right, cool. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's spin it round. Answer time.
Right, okay.
So my first question to you was, which Brosnan film features a cameo by Roger Moore's daughter?
Now, I believe that was Die Another Day, your favourite.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she was a flight attendant on the airplane.
Well done. Absolutely right.
I can't remember her name, actually.
Deborah Moore.
That's the one. Deborah.
Number 2. During the casino scene in GoldenEye, Bond says to Xenia, "It appears we share the same passions. 3 of them anyway." And Xenia replies with, "I count 2. What are those 2 passions that she names?"
Modeling and bacala.
Well done. And what would the 3rd passion be?
The same, Lover's Lesson number 3.
Shagging. There it is. Good stuff. Question number 3 is, when Dr. Kaufman asks Bond to open his car, Bond tells him a certain combo of buttons on his mobile phone will do it. What is that combination?
Now, I think this one is recall 3 send.
Well done. Absolutely right. You got it. Question number 4 is, what is the name of the doctor Bond seduces in order to get a clean bill of health in The World Is Not Enough?
It's probably one of my favourite Bond girl names in the series.
Mm-hmm.
It, I believe, is Dr. Molly Warmflash.
It is indeed.
That's a great name.
It is a good name, isn't it? Good stuff. And then finally, doing well so far, Chris. Finally, how does Xenia take her vodka martini?
Straight up with a twist.
Well done. 5 out of 5, Chris. Well done. Absolute excellent work. Rocketing into the lead.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, that was, yeah. Yeah, okay.
All right, good stuff.
Then.
All right, let's hear yours.
Question 1. Okay, in GoldenEye, what, according to Bond, was not exactly Britain's finest hour?
Okay, now I can't remember the exact
you don't have to get it
phrasing
exactly,
of it,
no,
but it's to do with the Liance Cossacks and Britain betraying them, basically.
I'll definitely give you a full mark for that.
Thank you.
Excellent. So basically, the Cossacks worked for the Nazis during the war, and they surrendered to the British, and the British sent them back to Stalin, who probably had them all shot. So there we go. But yeah, no, definitely full marks. That's brilliant. Okay, question 2. What was the code name used by Robinson in the pre-titles of Tomorrow Never Dies?
Well, I know Bond is White Knight.
Yeah.
So is he Black King? Or White King?
No. The close is White Rook. White Knight to White
I
Rook.
wouldn't have got that.
Yeah. White Rook, apparently.
Yeah.
White
Okay.
Rook. Okay, question 3. What famous actor was originally offered the role of Elliot Carver in Tomorrow Never Dies, but left after 3 days due to his despair at the chaos of having an unfinished script?
Now, I didn't know this even happened. This is news to me. So, for some reason, Anthony Hopkins comes to mind.
And it is indeed.
Nice.
Excellent. Well
Cool.
done, man. Anthony Hopkins.
So
and
he
what
was
I didn't
on set
know,
as Elliot Carver. I
Yeah.
never knew that.
Yeah, for 3 days. And also, prior to that, he was offered the role of 006 in GoldenEye. It was originally going to be an older 006,
Yeah.
but he didn't even. He chose not to go for it, so they rewrote it for a younger character, and obviously brought in Sean Bean. But yeah, apparently he was on 3 days on Tomorrow Never Dies.
I'd heard about that.
Whether
yeah.
that's contractually he was on for 3 days and hadn't actually started filming, but I suppose he must have been there because if he saw the chaos that was going on, and Tomorrow Never Dies was meant to be pretty bad at the time, so yeah, he must have been there for 3 days.
Wonder
But that's crazy, isn't it?
I wonder if there's any shots of him in costume and stuff. That would be interesting to see.
And like, it would have been, imagine, like, it's one of those what ifs, isn't it? What if Anthony Hopkins had been Elliot Carver? Would he have, his take on it been different and not quite as campy and comedic? It would have been an interesting thing to see, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. Cool.
But yeah, great. Well done. Got a brilliant answer. Question 4. What game does Electra King play in Valentin Tchaikovsky's Casino, and how does Bond try to help her? So it's a half mark for each.
So it's single card high draw.
Yeah, brilliant. One card high draw. Yeah.
And I'm not sure if I've got the number right, but he says burn the top 3 cards.
Yeah, bury the top 3 cards.
That right?
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, brilliant. Full mark there. Excellent. So basically, he asked the dealer to bury the top 3 cards, but that got me thinking. That made Electra lose. Now I know the whole point was that she had to lose because she was sort of paying Valentin Tchaikovsky for the sub and everything like that.
Yeah.
So if Bond had said bury the first card, or if Bond had said bury the second card, could Electra have won or not? Or like Bond's solitaire stack in Live and Let Die with the lovers cards, were they all the ace of clubs, and no matter how many he told to bury, it would have been the same card.
That's
Interesting,
true.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Because
interesting.
it couldn't have just been a fluke, and if it was, then Bond sort of was, he didn't exactly help her, did he? Put it that way.
Cheers, Bond. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But no, great, good answer. Okay, now this one is a tricky one. How does the title Die Another Day link to Fleming?
Well, what it was Fleming was going to die on a certain day, but he didn't, and he ended up dying on a different day.
Yeah, where did you hear that?
I've got no idea.
No. Well, this one is tricky. So basically, Fleming wrote a letter to someone called Jean Frampton. Now, she was a person he hired to type up the 007 manuscripts. And apparently, she helped quite a lot in the plotting of some of the books that he wrote. So she's a bit of an unsung hero from the novel side of Bond. Huh. But after sort of going through the Thunderball manuscript, she wrote a letter saying, I still regret the end of Thunderball, as my naive and literal mind would like to know exactly what happened. What about Blofeld? Or does he live to die another day?
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I won that. I mean, I'm sure that must have been. I mean, I'm assuming that's where they got the title from.
Well, I listened to a podcast, an interview with Purvis and Wade, and they were saying that I think I always get the two of them mixed up. Who's the blonde dude? Is that Purvis or is that Wade?
I think that's
Wade, isn't it?
Purvis and Wade. Yeah, I get mixed up.
Yeah.
I think Yeah.
Is Wade?
Robert Wade is the lighter one, and then Purvis.
Okay.
Because I used to think it was the other way round.
Yeah. So Wade came up with that title. He said it just came out of his mouth one day. So maybe he'd subconsciously read that, and that's where it came from. I don't know, but he said that he didn't get any royalties from Madonna's song.
Oh right, really?
Yeah, but there you go.
That was a very tough round, but you did brilliant there. Three.
Thanks, man. 3 out of 5. Okay, so next up, the Daniel round. So, question 1, pens at the ready, is in Casino Royale, when Bond crashes his Aston Martin, how many flips does the car do? Set a world record, if you remember. How many flips does that Aston Martin do? Okay. So, number 2, when Bond meets Fields in Quantum, she says, Mr. Bond, my name is Fields. I'm from the consulate. What is Bond's response? So, in Quantum, when Agent Fields meets Bond at the airport, she says, Mr. Bond, my name is Fields. I'm from the consulate. What is his response?
I've gone a blank on that one.
Question 3. During Casino Royale, during the train journey to Montenegro, how was Bond's lamb? So when he's having a chit-chat to Vesper, she says, how was the lamb? And what is his response? Question number 4. What was Vesper's cover name meant to be once they reached the casino? What was Vesper's cover name meant to be when they reached the Casino Royale? And finally, question number 5. At the end of Skyfall, this is an easy one. What is Bond's reply when M asks him if he's ready to get back to work? and I'm going to need an exact representation of what he says. No messing, because it's an easy question. At the end of Skyfall, what is Bond's reply to when M asks him if he's ready to get back to work?
Okay. Well, yeah, you certainly got me on one or two of those. I have to have a good think about those. Okay, so on to Daniel's round, Mr. Craig's round for me. So question 1. In Casino Royale, what does Le Chiffre say he believes in to Urbano in Uganda?
Okay.
Let's
hear that question again.
I'll hear that again. So in Casino Royale, what does Le Chiffre say he believes in when he's speaking to Urbana in Uganda at the start of the film?
Okay.
Question 2. During Bond's recuperation, what 2 things does Vesper say would make Bond more of a man than any other man she had met, even if that was all he had left? So I'll say that again. Question 2. During Bond's recuperation, what 2 things does Vesper say would make Bond more of a man than any other man she has met, even if that was all he had left? Okay. Question 3. In Quantum of Solace, when Bond is a passenger with Camille while attempting to outrun a pursuer on a motorbike, a truck is involved in the chase and its cargo spills onto the road, preventing the bike from chasing after them. What was that truck carrying? So I'll ask that again. Question 3. In Quantum of Solace, when Bond is a passenger with Camille while attempting to outrun a pursuer on a motorbike, a truck is involved in the chase and its cargo spills onto the road, preventing the bike from chasing after them. What was the truck carrying? Okay. Question 4. In Skyfall, what is the text that appears on M's laptop after it has been hacked by Silver? So question 4, what is in Skyfall, what is the text that appears on M's laptop after it has been hacked by Silver? And finally, question 5, Bond in Skyfall, Bond tells M and Kincaid to escape through the Priest's Hole and out the tunnel to the nearby moors surrounding Skyfall Lodge. But historically, what was a Priest's Hole used for? Oh my God.
You fell right into that one, didn't you? Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's a good one. Well, I'll accept multiple answers for this.
Alright, I'm going to have to get you to pose that question again.
Yeah, I should. Okay, so in Skyfall, Bond tells Emma Kincaid to escape through the Priest Hole and out the tunnel to the nearby moors. But historically, what was a Priest's Hole used for? I'll give you a mark for the correct answer and a half a mark for anything that's highly entertaining. So that's a very tricky one as well, and it's a bit of a cheeky, that one, because it's not directly Bond related, I guess.
All right, cool. Okay, so flipping it over, I'm just gonna have a little swig.
Okay.
Flipping it over, my first question was, how many roles did the Aston Martin achieve during the crash sequence in Casino Royale?
7.
Well done. 007 roles. The previous world record was 6, and they beat it by 1.
Is it still the current?
I believe so. I'm
now?
not 100% sure, but I haven't heard of it being beaten. So
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Question number 2. When Bond meets Fields in Quantum, she says, "Mr. Bond, my name is Fields. I'm from the consulate." What is Bond's response?
See, I think... Do you know what one initially came into my head, which isn't right, but I couldn't get it out of my head, was But of course you are. Reply to Politically Tall, which I know it isn't.
It is that, Chris.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh,
so I'm going to give you the point. Yeah.
But of course you are.
He recycles his Diamonds Are Forever plenty of Tall
So I thought it was, and it was in there, and then I thought, no, they can't repeat it. And you know when you have something, but you still have a bit of doubt as well.
Yeah.
But, that was pure luck, I guess, getting that. But of course you are, yeah. Phew.
Question number 3. In Casino Royale, during the train journey to Montenegro, how was Bond's lamb?
Skewered.
Well done. It was indeed. And then question number 4. What was Vesper's cover name meant to be once they reached the casino?
This is also a pretty good name. Is it Stephanie Broadchest?
It is indeed. Stephanie Broadchest.
She lives up to her name as well.
She certainly does. You're absolutely right. And that's a nice little nod to like the Bond girl names of years gone by, isn't it? That you could imagine a Roger or a Pierce Bond girl with a name like that, couldn't you?
But it would be serious in their films, and here it's kind of played a bit fluffs. Have we had anything since then? What have we had? We've had Camille. Obviously Severine and not really,
the only one we've had that's a bit sort of off is Strawberry Fields.
Of course, from But which you never hear. Do you hear Strawberry?
No, she only ever calls herself Fields. The only way you know it's Strawberry is in the credits when it rolls past.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. And then finally, question 5 is: at the end of Skyfall, what is Bond's reply when M asks him if he's ready to get back to work? I love it when you get into the mode. I think it's great.
Okay, here it is. With pleasure, sir. With pleasure.
Oh, Chris.
No?
I did ask for a specifically accurate one.
Oh,
it's
damn.
with pleasure, M. With pleasure.
Oh, with pleasure. Oh, I'll lose that one.
I'm going to give you half a point. I'm going to give you half a point because you had it. But it was I did specifically ask.
Yeah, you did.
So I've got to stick to that.
And I did, the M. With pleasure, M. With pleasure. It is M, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, silly me. Cool. Okay, I'll get a half for that one. 1, 2, 3, 4.5 on that one.
Nice work.
Okay, so Danny Boy from my round. Okay. Question 1. In Casino Royale, what does Le Chiffre say he believes in to Urbano in Uganda?
A reasonable rate of return.
Brilliant stuff. Lovely. Excellent. Question 2. During Bond's recuperation, what 2 things does Vesper say would make Bond more of a man than any other man she has met?
His smile and his little finger.
He does indeed. Yeah, excellent.
That's because she knows what he can do with his little finger.
Yeah, he can indeed. So if anyone got one of those, you get a half mark. Obviously, if you get 2, you get the full thing. Nice. Now, did you ever think that was Vesper hinting at the possible outcome of Bond with Le Chiffre? Because he'd just been, he'd been tortured. So her thing that if all he had left was a smile in his finger, i.e., he might not have something else downstairs.
Might not have his cock and balls.
Anymore.
Yeah,
that's it. Maybe. Who knows? Okay, so question 3. In Quantum of Solace, when Bond is a passenger with Camille and they're trying to outrun a motorcycle, a truck is involved in the chase and spills its cargo onto the road. What was the truck carrying?
I'm gonna ask for a little assistance here. Is it something that would have been a sponsorship kind of thing? Is it a product?
No, definitely no sponsor whatsoever.
Okay. In that case, then, is it watermelons?
No, not watermelons. But it's a subtle reference to a previous Bond film.
Go on then, I don't know what it is.
It's coffins. So the truck sort of goes and a load of coffins fall out onto the road.
Yeah.
And I think it's like a subtle reference to Live and Let Die.
Yeah.
Because I know Mendes loves Live and Let Die.
Yeah.
So that was that one. Question 4. In Skyfall, what is the text that appears on M's laptop after it's been hacked by Silver?
Think on your sins.
Yes, good answer. Lovely. And I think that's probably another reference to Live and Let Die. You know, the skull motif is quite Live and Let Die-ish. But didn't Mendes say, was that the first one he watched, Live and Let Die? I believe so.
It's Daniel's favourite as well. That was his first.
Oh, there you go. So I think between
one,
the two of them, they get a lot of that in. Excellent, though. Question 5. Question 5. Historically speaking, what was a priest's hole used for?
Escaping. Or hiding. Hiding from persecution.
Brilliant. Hiding from persecution, get a full mark. Basically, in the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, it was a hiding place for Catholic priests who were going to be persecuted. And that's where they did. So
nicely done.
But yeah, great. Well done. Oh, you got a solid round there.
So 4 out of 5 for me there.
1, 2, 3, 4. Nice.
Good stuff. Okay, so now this is where things split off a little bit because I've got 5 general Bond questions, a bit of Bond general knowledge, whereas you have got 5 Bond girl related questions. So we're splitting things off a little bit for this round. So pens and pencils at the ready. Question number 1 in general knowledge Bond.
Okay.
Question 1. In which movie do we see the first appearance of General Gogol? In which movie do we see the first appearance of General Gogol? Question number 2. Throughout the series, Bond's fellow 00s have often been mentioned. For example, in Goldfinger, Bond says, "If I fail to report, 008 replaces me." Which 2 00 numbers have never been mentioned in the official Eon series? So again, throughout the series, the fellow 00s have been mentioned. For example, in Goldfinger, Bond says, "If I fail to report, 008 replaces me." Which 2 00 numbers have never been mentioned in the official series?
So we're talking single digit, so we're not going into...
We're not
11,
going in...
12, 13, 14,
we're not doing any of that, we're not even doing 10.
Okay.
So single, like 1-digit numbers.
1-digit numbers, okay.
Number 3, which
Is it a half mark for each one, sorry?
It will be a half mark for each one. Which 2 Bond films are the only ones to not show scantily clad ladies during the title sequence? Which 2 Bond films are the only ones to not show scantily clad ladies during the title sequence? How are you doing so far, all right?
All right, that one's quite tricky, I think.
Question number 4. How many Felix Leiterses have there been in the official series? You don't have to name them all. I just need the number of how many there are. If you can name them all, you get maximum respect. So that's how many Felix Leiterses have there been in the official series?
Okay.
And finally, in my general knowledge Bond question round, how many non-British Bond directors have there been? And can you name them and where they're from? Okay, so that's a bit of a triple threat question, that one.
I might need a bit of time on that one.
Yeah, okay. We have all the time in the world.
If you sing that whole song and then I'll...
Just for love, nothing more, nothing less. Only love, every step. No, I'll stop it there.
Okay.
I don't want to put everybody through that pain. So there have been some non-British Bond directors. How many have there been? If you can name them and where they're from as well, that's a nice little bonus.
That's a hard one.
Okay.
Okay, so my round. So this is a strictly Bond girl round, but I guess it's sort of part Bond knowledge as well. Okay, so the very first question for my Bond girls round is: who played the very first Bond girl that appeared in the 1954 version of Casino Royale? So, who played the very first Bond girl that appeared in the 1950 version of Casino Royale? Now, if you can guess her character name, I'll give you a half mark. Her real name, you get the full mark. If you can get a character name, you get a half mark.
Okay.
Okay. Question 2. What is Mary... In Doctor No, What is Mary Trueblood's blood type in Dr. No, discovered after she was shot by the 3 blind mice? Again, anyone that's been on a Facebook page within the last couple of months will have noticed something which would have given you the answer to this. And you know what? Well, I'll tell you when we get back round to it.
Okay.
Question 3. Which famous singer was originally considered for the role of Solitaire in Live and Let Die? So question 3. Which famous singer was originally considered for the role of Solitaire in Live and Let Die? Okay. Question 4. Which Bond girl actress was offered a stunt double for her character when she disrobes in the film, but decided, to do the job herself? Quite admirably, I might add. So question 4. Which Bond girl actress was offered a stunt double for her character when she disrobes in the film, but decided to do the job herself? Finally, question 5. What cover name does Pam Bouvier use in License to Kill when she's in Isthmus City? So question 5. What cover name does Pam Bouvier use in License to Kill when she's in Isthmus City? That's my Bond Girls round.
Well, that's been a bad round for me, that one. Jesus Christ.
That's a bit of a stinker, that one.
All right.
A stinker. But.
So let's flip it back around then. So back to my general knowledge Bond questions. My first question was, which movie do we see the first appearance of General Gogol?
I believe that is The Spy Who Loved Me.
Well done. Oh. And can you remember what his last appearance was?
Would have been The Living Daylights.
Well done. Absolutely right. Well done. Question number 2. Throughout the series, Bond's fellow 00s have often been mentioned. Which 2 00 numbers have never been mentioned throughout the entire official Eon series?
So I would say that would be 001 and 005.
Well done. Correct on both counts. So if you only get one of those, you get half a point.
I think 00, like you would have thought 005 would have been mentioned by now, wouldn't you?
You would have, yeah. And you would have thought 001 would be like a really good 00, wouldn't you? Because he's 001, but whatever. Number 3. Which 2 Bond films are the only ones to not show scantily clad ladies during the title sequence?
So this one, I think you've got me on this. I think one of them, I don't know. Like, what do you regard as scantily clad? Because Dr. No, there are women, but they're not really scantily clad. They're just dancing with clothes on. Well, so I would potentially say Dr. No might be one.
Okay.
I've got 2 potentials for the others. Now, I think one of them would have to be Casino Royale, because I remember there's a bit where you see the face of Vesper in the roulette wheel, but I don't remember seeing any scantily clad women. So I'd probably go with Casino. The other one that's in my mind is On Her Majesty's, but then you must see them when they're doing the sign. So I'm going to stick with Dr. No and Casino Royale.
And you'd be absolutely correct. Well done. Yeah, because you get the silhouettes of the new ladies like on their doing the whole crest of the royal
pose.
thing.
That's right. That's that.
Okay, question number 4. How many Felix Leiterses have there been in the official series?
Right. All right. I think 7.
Well done. It was 7. And can you name them all just for extra respect?
Okay. Dr. No was Jack Lord. Goldfinger was Cecil Linder. Thunderball was Rick Van Nutter. Diamonds Are Forever was Norman Burton. Live and Let Die and License to Kill was David Hedison. Living Daylights was John Terry. And Casino and Quantum was Jeffrey Wright.
Well done, absolutely right. And of course, for those counting at home, Bernie Casey was in Never Say Never Again as Felix, but obviously that wasn't part of this question. And then final question in General Knowledge Bond is, can you name all the non-British Bond directors and where they're from?
Right, I can only think of potentially 2. And those 2 would be Martin Campbell and Lee Tamahori.
Okay.
And do I have to say where they're from?
Yes, please.
I would say New Zealand.
You'd be correct.
On both counts.
Yes.
Oh.
Now, there's one more. It's fucking obvious when you think about it.
Okay, let me think. Well, Never Say Never Again, does that count? Irvin Kershner. There is one more, right, let me think. Does Spoof Casino count?
Nope.
No. Shit.
Officially on series.
Oh, right, officially on
I'm going to have to do the countdown clock.
All right.
Did boom.
No, I don't know.
You're going to kick yourself when I tell you.
Go on.
Mark Forster.
Oh, of course he is.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about him. Mark Forster. Oh.
Mark Forster, obviously from Germany. So there we go.
Yeah, of course, Mark Forster.
So,
I completely forgot
there
about
it is.
him.
So you'll get half a point for that.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Oh, I forgot
2
about
out of
that. That's
3.
funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's funny. From our perspective, it's like when you're doing this thing and we're doing it kind of live in terms of at the moment, neither of us know. It's completely different. Like, you'll have knowledge in your head, which every day normally you just know.
Yeah.
But then when you get put on the spot, you do go blank. And it's like some people might be listening to this going, oh, those guys don't know anything. They're getting these questions wrong. But it is different when you're like...
Well, absolutely. That is my
well.
excuse for how poorly I'm about to perform in this next round, is that usually I do know all of this, but because I'm on the spot and under pressure, that's why any of the questions I've got wrong is my excuse.
Yeah, we're both giving out now. But this round is quite a hard round.
Okay, let's have it.
So Bond girls. Question 1: Who played the very first Bond girl who appeared in the 1954 version of Casino Royale? And if you know the Bond girl's name, the character name, you'll get a half mark.
So it wasn't Vesper Lind?
It wasn't Vesper Lind.
I'm going to have a guess, and I'm going to say your mum.
Thanks very much. Yeah. Did you not know she was actually in? Yeah. Okay. So the actress. In fact, I think you can get the character name. The character name I'll let you have if you can get the surname, and the character with the surname is in the film Casino Royale.
Solange.
It's it's a tricky one. It's Mathis. So her character was actually called Valerie Mathis.
Okay.
And the Bond girl was Linda Christian.
Okay.
Back in the day.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got that.
No, it's old
Shit,
one.
do you know what?
Okay.
I remember watching that old school Casino when I must have been about 15 or something. I watched it once and never again. We should get around to reviewing that at some point.
Well,
yeah.
I do have it on VHS somewhere, and I made
me too.
I made Gibbers watch it. One of our mates. I made him watch it. He wasn't overly impressed, but it'd be interesting to revisit it again.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Okay, so question 2: in Dr. No, what is Mary Trueblood's blood type?
Is it O negative?
Oh, I'll give you a half mark. Okay. It's ORH positive, which, it's ORH positive.
I'm not sure if I deserve half a point for that.
No, because you got the O bit.
I got the O. You? All right, you're too kind.
I'll give you a half mark for that. But the amazing thing was, which some of our Facebook sort of friends will know, is that it was a couple of months ago now, I gave blood. For the first time, I think. Well, for the first time in a long time, if not. And so they send you this little card in the post. And so for about 3 weeks, I didn't know what my blood type was before. So for like 3 weeks, I was going, oh, please be RH positive. Please be RH positive. Right? The letter came. As soon as I got it, I ripped off the card. And as soon as I saw it, I don't think anyone's been more ecstatic than I was to find out that my blood type was ORH positive.
That's hilarious.
I was like, well, happy. But
that's a good point. I don't know what my blood type is. I'm going to have to go and give blood now. Yeah.
I didn't know for age. I mean, you could be RH positive as well. It's quite a common-ish one, I think, but there we are. So, question 3. Which famous singer was originally considered for the role of Solitaire in Live and Let Die?
I'm going to have a guess, and I know that I know the answer to this. I have known it in the past, but it eludes me at the minute. So I'm going to have a guess based on the time. I'm going to say, was it Barbara Streisand?
That was close. I'm going to give you one clue on this, though.
All right, go on.
Prior to Jane Seymour taking the role, the Rosie Carver role and the Solitaire role were reversed in terms of colour. So initially, Solitaire was going to be black and the Carver role was going to be white. So if I said that, what would you say? Famous singer.
That does ring bells now.
Any guess?
It's still a bollocks. I don't know. Tina Turner.
That was good. That was a good guess. It was Diana Ross.
Diana
Ross.
Now you told me that. I remember that. Yeah. Bollocks.
Diana Ross. Okay, question 4. Which Bond girl actress was offered a stunt double for her character when she disrobes in the film, but she decided to do the job herself? Now, her character you've actually mentioned in the quiz already. Her character name you've mentioned in the quiz already.
I'm just going to scan through my questions quickly just to have a little look. Well, I know it wasn't Moneypenny, that's for sure. Was it Famke Janssen?
No. Good. But that was a good guess, and you're around the right sort of time. It was Dr. Molly Warmflash, Serena Scott Thomas, who played Molly Warmflash. You know when she goes down to
undergarments,
undergarments. She apparently said no, I'll do it. So there we go. Okay. Well done, Serena.
Good for her. Flying the flag.
Yeah. So question 5: what cover name does Pam Bouvier use in License to Kill when they're in Isthmus City?
No idea.
If I said Miss, that helps.
Still, it's been. Do you know what? I haven't seen License in so long, and it's been one of those that I'm saving until we review it, and I don't want to watch it until we hit that point. No, and because what I like to do sometimes is not watch a certain one. Once I twig that I haven't seen one for a while, is really leave it so I can watch it with fresh eyes, and that film is like that one for me. Yeah.
That's what I'm doing with one or two of them at the moment. Her alias was Miss Kennedy. Apparently.
I know that now you said it, of course. Yeah. Miss Kennedy. Yeah. So that's half a point out of 5 for me on that round, which is great. And I don't feel I even deserve the half. But there you go.
You do. Yes, you do. You've got the oak. Right. No, but that was a super duper tricky one. That one.
Okay. Next up.
Right, what are we doing next?
So we've got 3 rounds left before we finish the quiz.
3 rounds left.
So next up we have the books round.
Okay.
So pens at the ready.
Books. Okay.
Question number 1 is how many full-length Bond books did JBR friend Raymond Benson write? How many full-length Bond books did Raymond Benson write? Okay. Emphasis on the full length because he did knock out some short stories.
Out some short stories as well. Yeah. Okay.
And that doesn't include like the omnibus editions and all that kind of stuff. It's just how many full length Bond books did Raymond Benson write? Okay. Question number 2: which Fleming Bond book opens with the line, "It was one of those Septembers when it seemed that the summer would never end"?
Oh, that's good.
Which Fleming Bond book opens with the line, "It was one of those Septembers when it seemed that the summer would never end"?
I think you got me there. See, that's like you with some of the films. I've got my Ian Fleming set ready to go, but I haven't got around to it yet. But it is ready to go.
There you go.
Cool. Okay.
Number 3. Which Bond villain's name roughly translates to mean either the cipher or the number? Which Bond villain's name roughly translates to mean either the cipher or the number? Question number 4. In Diamonds Are Forever, one of the villains owns a ghost town. What is the name of that ghost town? In Diamonds Are Forever, one of the villains owns a ghost town. What is the name of that ghost town? And finally, and I know you know the answer to this one, Chris, because you've referenced it throughout the quiz already.
Did I?
In the book Moonraker, what card game does Bond play with Hugo Drax?
Oh.
Question number 5. In the book Moonraker, which card game does Bond play with Hugo Drax? And you get a respect point if you can tell me how Hugo Drax was cheating at that card game.
Oh man. Okay.
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 How do you feel you did on that one?
A couple. Okay, and then the books. Like I need to just basically go through. I can't wait to get started on them. The trouble is I've got one or two other on the go at the moment, but I am gonna get cracking. And obviously we're gonna do some more book reviews.
Indeed.
We kind of know what our next one is going to be.
Yeah.
And potentially the one after that, and then I think we're
going to slot into some Fleming and knock
definitely.
them out. Good stuff.
Okay, so this is my round for the books. Question number 1 is: in Casino Royale, how does Vesper die? So in the novel Casino Royale, how does Vesper die? That's question 1. Okay.
Okay.
Question 2. Kingsley Amis wrote two books about Bond in 1965. One was the James Bond dossier, and the other under what pseudonym? So I'll say that again. So in 1965, Kingsley Amis wrote 2 books about Bond. One was called the James Bond dossier. The other book he wrote under a pseudonym. What was his pseudonym? Okay. Question 3. What 2 previous James Bond novels influenced the plot of From Russia with Love? So this is kind of it hasn't got a huge bearing on it, but there is a link. So
pose that question again.
So what 2 previous Bond novels influenced the plot of From Russia with Love, or at least sort of have a bearing or influence or fuel? Perhaps fuel is better. What 2 previous James Bond novels fuel the plot of From Russia with Love? Okay. Question 4. Which potential James Bond actor was referred to by name in 2 of the Fleming novels, with one referring to him as the only real gentleman in Hollywood? I'll say that again. Question 4. Which potential James Bond actor was referred to by name in 2 of the Fleming novels, with one referring to him as the only gentleman in Hollywood? And you get extra bonus kudos if you tell me what the novels were. And finally, question 5. Which Bond film was the first to be based on a Fleming short story? Question 5. Which Bond film was the first to be based on a Fleming short story?
Okay. It's a good round.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah,
Tough
there's some
round.
chin strokers going on in there.
Yeah, there is a lot of chin.
Yeah.
There's chin stroking going on over here.
Yeah.
I tell you.
There's dotted throughout this episode is going to just be periods of silence where we're both like that.
Yeah, the cogs are turning.
Yeah.
Just.
All right, wangling it back to the beginning of this round then, the book round.
Okay.
My first question to you was, how many full-length Bond books did Raymond Benson write?
Now, this is kind of, well, it is a guess, complete guess, but I'm trying to remember back, and I'm going to go for 3.
No.
Oh, I didn't think so. How many were there?
It was actually 9.
9 full books?
Yes.
Wow.
You had
Okay.
0 - 10. You had The Facts of Death. You had High Time to Kill. You had Double Shot. You had Never Dream of Dying. And you had The Man with the Red Tattoo.
Wow.
And then you also those were the original stories, and then he had 3 novelizations of the films. Tomorrow Never Dies, World Is Not Enough, and Another Day.
Wow.
And to round it out, 3 short stories as well, which obviously wasn't part of the questions.
There's the 3.
There you go. Published in Playboy, which obviously is why you knew that. Blast from the Past, Midsummer Night's Doom, and Live at 5. So quite a prolific...
There's a lot of material there.
Absolutely, yeah, completely.
I remember reading Double Shot quite a few years ago, where he had like a doppelganger almost, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
So there's some... I've heard The Man with the Red Tattoo is great, so there's definitely some that I'd like to delve into.
Yeah. I remember buying those religiously when they came out, and then in fact that's why I remember the last 2 books I still haven't read, because that was the time in life when I actually moved away from home and went to college, and I just never got around to reading them. So there's 2 Bond books there I haven't read yet, but there you go. Okay, number 2. Which Fleming Bond book opens with the line, "It was one of those Septembers when it seemed that the summer would never end"?
Now, this is complete and utter guess as well, and even, well, it's not going to be right. I'm going to go with Moonraker.
Sadly not. It was On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Oh, was it On Her Majesty's?
Yeah. Number 3. Which Bond villain's name roughly translates to mean either the cipher or the number?
Excuse me. That would be Le Chiffre.
Well done.
Yeah, you got one more.
Question number 4. In Diamonds Are Forever, one of the villains owns a ghost town. What was the name of that ghost town?
That would be Spectreville.
Well done.
Another Spectre. I remember that came up in our Spectre conversation.
Indeed, it did, yeah. And then finally, question number 5. In the book Moonraker, which card game does Bond play with Hugo Drax?
And that is Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how he cheats, I can't quite remember. I don't know if he... No, that wouldn't be it. It wouldn't be like cards up the sleeve or cards under the table. No, I'm not sure. How did he cheat?
He has a highly polished cigarette case that he leaves on the table. So there's a little mirror. So as the cards are passed across the table, he just has a little, sneaky bastard.
That's good. I liked it. Yeah. Sneaky bastard indeed. I'd like to see that scene though in a Bond film.
Yeah, me too.
At some point.
There's plenty in Moonraker that wasn't used.
Yeah. Cool. So for that round, 1, 2, I got 3. That's a tough round. Very tough round. I have to get into those a bit more. Okay, on to the books for me. So question 1 was, in Casino Royale, how does Vesper die?
She kills herself in the bath, overdose of pills. Yeah,
well done. Overdose of pills. Brilliant. I think you're going to do well in this round. Question 2, Kingsley Amis wrote 2 books about Bond in 1965. One was called The James Bond Dossier. The other... It was written under what pseudonym?
Robert Markham.
No. Because this is a trick question.
Ah, you bastard.
Because his other book, his pseudonym was actually Bill Tanner, and the book was The Book of Bond or Every Man His 007. The one that you're referring to, the Colonel's Son, came quite later. I think it was later.
Oh, you
65.
bastard. So what is this then? So this was written in 65?
Yeah, so this was written, he wrote 2 books in 65. One was called The James Bond Dossier, which he had his own name under, Kingsley Amis. The other one was called The Book of Bond or Every Man His 007, and he used the pseudonym Bill Tanner.
Well, I've learned something today. I never knew that.
Yeah. I thought that was a very tricky one, though.
Do you know what? There was a little seed in my mind there when you asked that question, because I thought to myself, why didn't he say Colonel's Son? Why did he say the other book? But I didn't think anything of it. How strange.
Yeah, that was very sneaky of me.
It was very sneaky.
I do apologise.
Yeah.
Okay, so question 3. What 2 previous Bond novels influenced the plot of From Russia with Love?
I'm going to say Casino Royale and Diamonds Are Forever.
Casino Royale is right, and apparently Live and Let Die. Now, this is because Smersh was due to Le Chiffre's death and Mr. Big's demise. They both caused a major embarrassment to Smersh, who wanted to exact revenge.
That makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah.
So, but you definitely got 1, so half
a point.
That one. Okay, question 4. Which potential Bond actor was referred to by name in 2 of the Fleming novels, with one referring to him as the only real gentleman in Hollywood?
There's 2 names that are flying around my mind. I think it's either David Niven or Cary Grant.
I'll tell you now, you're 50% right.
Well, it's either Cary Niven or David Grant. I'm 50% right.
No, basically it's one of those. Which one is it?
Shit.
The only real gentleman in Hollywood.
In that case, I'm going to have to say David Niven because he was quite gentle.
Yeah, baby, come on!
Nice.
Stoke that fire! Yeah, no, awesome, David Niven. So he was in, he was mentioned in You Only Live Twice and in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. So in You Only Live Twice, he was mentioned as the only real gentleman in Hollywood. And in Majesty's, Bond is informed that David Niven is a frequent visitor to the exclusive ski resort in Switzerland.
Ah, very nice.
There we go.
Old Niven was good mates with Roger as well.
He was indeed, yeah. And yeah. I mean, he was obviously in Casino Royale, the spoof in '67.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. So good. That was a really good answer. So finally, question 5: which Bond film was the first to be based on a Fleming short story?
That has got to be For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah, get in there. Nice one.
Nice.
Excellent round.
So it's 3.5.
3.5. That was a solid round for the books, man. Books are tough.
Okay, cool. So the final 2 categories we're coming up to now. So the stakes are high.
Yeah.
So we are in the Bond music round now. So here it comes.
Okay.
Question number 1. Which band released a cover of Live and Let Die in 1991? Which band released a cover of Live and Let Die in 1991? Question number 2. The band who performed The Living Daylights are from which country? Whoa, whoa, whoa. So the band who performed The Living Daylights are from which country? Question number 3. Who performed the theme song for Octopussy? Question number 3. Who performed the theme song for Octopussy? Now, I haven't heard any other. That's the only song I know that person does. I couldn't name another song.
No.
Question number 4. Complete the lyric. Maybe I'm an open book.
Oh man, I know what song it's from.
So complete the lyric. Maybe I'm an open book.
Oh my god, I think I can. Oh, I can't. Oh no, that's stumped me. Okay.
And then
5.
finally, question number 5. Legend has it that when John Barry was writing the theme song to Goldfinger, he had an extremely famous actor staying with him at his house, who he instantly kept up all night with the noise from the piano. Who was that actor?
Okay.
And I know you know this.
Yeah, that one I've got. There's a couple in there though.
So I'm going to rephrase the question. So John Barry had a friend of his who's a very famous actor staying with him at his house while he was writing the theme song to Goldfinger, and he kept that actor up all night with the noise from the piano. Who was that actor? And we have actually mentioned that in the podcast as well. So if you are a thoroughbred JBR listener who've been listening all the way back from episode 1, you will have heard that story, us talk about that story at some point. Okay.
Tough one. Okay, so on to my round now for the music. Okay, so question 1. What was the first non-instrumental Bond song not to feature the film's title within the lyrics?
What was the first non-instrumental Bond song, so in other words, not On Her Majesty's, to not feature the song's title?
Within its lyrics, yeah.
Within its lyrics.
So first non-instrumental Bond song that
So
doesn't include...
because I know you're sneaky with some of your questions after that last one. So we're not talking Dr. No either.
Basically, Dr. No and Majesties are off the table. So it's got lyrics in the song. So which song, Bond song with lyrics, is the first that doesn't include the film's title within its lyrics? And what is the name of the song?
Okay.
Question 2. What links the singers of The Man with a Golden Gun and The World Is Not Enough? So what link is there between the singers of The Man with a Golden Gun and The World Is Not Enough?
Yep.
Question 3. What Bond theme song holds the longest running time? So what Bond theme song holds the longest running time?
That's a toughie, that one.
Yeah.
Huh.
So which Bond song holds the longest running time? Okay. Question 4. Who sang Underneath the Mango Tree when we see Honey Rider singing it? So who sang Underneath the Mango Tree when we see Honey Rider singing it?
Okay.
Okay, finally, question 5. Complete this lyric. He has a powerful weapon.
Okay.
Why are you laughing? Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Round.
All right, cool. So let's flip it around then. So this is the second to last category. So we get the stakes are high. Question number 1. Which band released a cover of Live and Let Die in 1991?
Now this one, I think it's got to be, because it's the only one I can think that's around that time, and one which I really liked as well, which was Guns N' Roses.
Well done.
Right. I actually like that. It's a cool.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I think, Guns N' Roses.
Question number 2. Where are Aha, the Living Daylights band, from?
Is it RR or Aha?
I'm John's favourite band. What sort of music are you into?
Christmas. That's got to be a Christmas cracker somewhere.
Yeah.
James Bond Christmas cracker.
What's on John's favourite band? Fuck me.
Okay. I'm going to go Norway.
Well done.
Norway.
I was hoping to catch you out there. I thought you might have said Sweden.
Ooh, yeah. I knew it was one of the Scandinavians.
Question number 3. Who performed the theme song for Octopussy?
The theme song for Octopussy, with his all-time high, was performed by Rita Coolidge.
Well done.
Which, again, like you, I can answer another song that she's done.
Never heard of her before.
Forgive me
since.
if that's bad, but...
Yeah. Question number 4. Complete the lyric. Maybe I'm an open book.
Oh my God, I always got it then. Oh my God, I think I've got the last 2 words in the line. Maybe I'm an open book for da-da-da. It's true. I don't know if it's true, isn't it? No. Maybe I'm an open book. Oh, mate, you're going to have to tell me. Sorry, I'm out.
Maybe I'm an open book because I know you're mine.
Oh, you're... Oh, there we go. I was way off anyway, because I know you're mine. Well done.
For your eyes only, ding, only for you. Okay, question number 5. Old John Barry, when he was writing the theme song for Goldfinger, had a very famous actor staying in his house who he kept up all night with the noise from the piano. Who was that actor?
That was Mr. Michael Caine.
And not a lot of people know that.
But they do now.
They do. Lovely stuff. So how did you fare with that one?
4 for that one.
Nice. Well done.
Which is good, because music ones are hard, I think. That was lucky. Yeah. Oh, the lyric. I think we should do a lyrics round next time where we have 5 questions to follow on the lyrics, because I quite like that. That's a nice
sounds
thing.
good.
Perhaps even we could possibly build it into the podcast. Who knows? But if not, we'll definitely keep them for the. Definitely keep them for the.
If the old guess the quote round or guess the music cue gets a bit tired, we'll throw one of those in.
Definitely. Okay, so here are my questions for the music. Question 1. What was the first non-instrumental Bond song not to feature the film's title within its lyrics?
That would have to be Octopussy, wouldn't it? All-time high.
Yeah, get in there. Boomtown. Lovely. Okay, Octopussy, all-time high. Question 2. What links the singers of The Man with the Golden Gun and The World Is Not Enough?
They're both Scottish.
Hey, aye, wee laddie. Okay, sorry, apologies to any Scottish listeners right now.
Connery's listening in the Bahamas and he's just ripped his headphones out in disgust.
I think he probably has, yeah.
Little shit.
Okay, question 3. What Bond theme song holds the longest running time?
This is a very difficult one. It's
It
a
is,
complete guess. I'm just going to say, is it On Her Majesty's Secret Service?
No, but that is a good guess because it is a long one.
Yeah.
It's actually License to Kill at a whopping 5 minutes and 12 seconds.
Bloody hell. Gladys loved a bit of it, didn't she?
Yeah, she did indeed. But yeah, very tricky question, that one. Okay, so question 4. Who sang Underneath the Mango Tree when we see Honey Rider singing it?
Diana Copeland.
Excellent. And for an extra shoulder rubbing bonus point, do you know who she was married to?
She was Mrs. Monty Norman.
Oh my God, look at that. Brilliant stuff, Tom. Lovely.
Thanks.
Okay, so question 5, finally. Complete the lyric. I like this round. Okay, complete this lyric. He has a powerful weapon.
Now, there's one of 2 lines that I think this could be.
Yeah.
Is it, he charges a million a shot?
Yeah.
Nice.
What was the other one you had in mind?
He has a powerful weapon. Oh, no. In fact, I've just realised that, of course, that would be wrong, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. No, but no, excellent. Yeah, super. Oh, you did brilliant in that round. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5.
Nicely done.
Superb.
That's back from my shameful Bond Girls performance with my half a point.
That Bond Girls one was hard. But yeah,
so, moving on to the final round now. The final round of the 100 questions 2014 Ultimate Bond Bonanza Bumper Boxing Day Bondian quiz.
What have we got in store for the JBR listeners for our final round?
10 rapid fire guess the quotes.
Bond, James Bond.
There it is. Okay.
So you got to guess which actors I was then.
I think you were. What actor you were then?
Yeah. Which actors was I just then?
I think you were probably all 6 of them.
Yeah. Well done. Extra point.
All right.
Yeah,
Nice.
Okay.
So, quote number 1.
Oh,
I think I'm going to get you on some of these actually.
Yeah, I think you will.
Question number 1.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. I'll perform it again just to make sure. I'm sorry, I don't know who you are.
Oh, okay.
Question number 2. As a matter of fact, I was.
Carl, you're killing me on this. Damn.
Question number 2. Again. As a matter of fact, I was.
I'm going to need some time on it, right?
Okay, now this one I'm going to have to step away from the microphone somewhat so it doesn't blow your ears off.
Right.
See you in hell!
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I think you'll probably get that one.
Yeah.
I'll do it again.
Maybe, but it's good.
You ready? See you in hell!
Okay.
Everybody just turns down their iPods after that one.
Yeah.
Question number 4. Why should you trust me?
Oh, these are hard, man.
And again, why should you trust me? And then,
I can't picture it, but it just sounds amazing, whoever it is.
And then finally, my final quote of the 2014
That
Bumper Bond
sounded
Bonanza
really
quiz.
Mr. Wintish then, but I don't know. But anyway, sorry.
Number 5, my final quote is, who are you working for?
Ah, that's a good one.
And one last time. Who are you working for?
I think you might have actually done that in one of the previous podcasts.
I know why you think that, but I haven't.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, we'll see how that one plays out.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, okay, here we
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that's the end of my questions for the Super Duper quiz.
God, mate, you've got me on so many of those. Okay. Okay, so on to my quotes. Here we go. So this is quote number 1. Hey, no bucking ear.
That was fucking great. That was so good.
Do you want me to do it again?
Yeah.
So quote number 1 is hey, no bucking ear.
Cool.
Okay, so that's quote number 1.
Yeah.
Quote number 2 is, yes, we're taking good care of him. So I'll say that again. Quote number 2.
Yeah.
Yes, we're taking good care of him. I'll try that one more time.
Okay.
Yes, we're taking good care of him. Okay. Oh, now this one I love. You'll get it, but I love it. Okay.
Okay.
Quote number 3. Forgot to tell you, their father ran karate school.
Oh, please do that again.
Okay. Quote number 3 is, forgot to tell you, their father ran karate school.
Oh, I love the quote round so much. All right, cool.
Okay. Okay, question 4. I've made commitments. Letters of credit, special payoffs.
Oh, do that again.
I'll do that again. Okay, so quote number 4 is, I've made commitments. Letters of credit, special payoffs.
Got it.
Okay, quote number 4. And finally, quote number 5. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Okay, quote number 5. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I think I've done quite well out of that, I think.
Yeah, you screwed me over. I'm going to have to... Yeah, you screwed me over me.
Okay, so flipping it around then, here's the answers for the final category. So, quote number 1. I'm sorry, I don't know who you are.
Mate, you've got me on this, I think.
Yeah?
I can't think of it. The only one that came into my mind was someone who wouldn't have said it in that manner. I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. Oh, mate, you got me on that. What is it?
That is Strawberry Fields to Mathis.
That's what
Moments after Bond says, of course you are.
I should have just said it because that's who I thought it was, but
Yeah.
not in that. Oh, yeah, okay, my bad.
Number
I
2.
should have said it. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I was.
That sounds Roger-esque. So I can't remember.
As a matter of fact, I was.
I think you got me as well. I can.
You're going to
sort of-
fucking kick yourself, mate.
Yeah. Well, the mind's gone blank. When it goes blank, it doesn't.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Go
true.
on. What is it? All I can picture is Roger Bond. But I
$1
don't
million,
see it.
Mr. Bond. You
Oh
are
my
wondering what
God.
it cost. As a
Oh
matter of
my
fact, I
God.
was.
That
There
was
it is.
ridiculous.
Obviously, it's
Sorry
Bond
about
to
that.
Dr. No,
Yeah.
for those of you who didn't get that other bit.
God,
Number
I'm not doing good on
3,
this one.
I'm going to go way away from my microphone.
All right.
See you in hell!
That was great. That would be Felix Leiter in License to Kill.
It was, well done. Number 4,
This one I don't know either.
why should you trust me?
All I can picture is Mr. Wint saying that, and it's not. Why should you trust me? I'm imagining it's your attempt at a lady, but I don't know.
Don't know what will give you that idea.
Wait a minute. No, I'm gone as well.
It's Miss Anders to Bond after he's done her arm in.
Ah, okay. Why should you trust me? Oh, that's...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That one was a good one. I definitely wouldn't have gotten that one. That was a good one.
And then number 5, who are you working for?
So it's not Who's Your Connection, because that was Diamonds Are Forever.
That also involved a slap, didn't it?
Yeah.
That one, yeah.
Yeah. Who are you working for?
This does hark back to an earlier question in this very quiz.
Really?
Hmm.
I remember Dent saying it, Bond saying it to Dent, but obviously that is without any slap. So, who are you working for? Oh, no. Is it? No. Bond to Patrice in Skyfall?
No,
he doesn't
that would have
slap
been,
him, does he?
who do you work for?
Oh, yeah, that's right. What's this one, then?
Is Helga Brandt to Bond when he's tied up in the chair.
Oh, yes, it is.
Who do you work for? And he says, Empire Chemicals, you know that.
Yeah, oh, brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
Mate, I crapped out on that one. I only got 1 out of 5. I should the Strawberry Fields one I knew, but I didn't say it. I don't know why. But yeah, 2 and 4 and 5 and 1 obliterated me.
Nice.
Good one. Right then, quotes. Here we go. Question number 1. Quote number 1, rather. Hey, here we go. Hey, no barking here.
Pardon, Monsieur Lago. That would
Hey.
be the policeman at the beginning of Thunderball.
Brilliant stuff. Nice one. Okay, quote number 2. Yeah, sorry. Yes, we're taking good care of him.
This is tough. I'm going to have a guess and say a nurse in Casino Royale at the end.
I probably didn't do it right, but this is Holly Goodhead on the phone to Drax when they're talking about Bond. And she says, yes, we're taking good care of him just before he does the 0G thing.
Yeah.
But that was a tricky one. Okay, quote number 3. Ready?
Yeah.
Forgot to tell you, their father ran karate school.
Oh, I love that. I love it so much. I got to tell you. That would be Lieutenant Hip.
Yes, it would. How did you get that?
Oh, that was my favourite. All right, cool.
Okay, quote number 4. I've made commitment. Sorry. Okay, quote number 4. I've made commitments. Letters of credit. Special payoffs.
That would be Brad Whitaker.
Yeah, good man.
Yeah.
Excellent. And question 5. Quote number 5, sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
That would be Fields after she trips up Elvis.
Yes, indeed. That's why I didn't say the last one. Silly Billy. Excellent. You got 4. Nice one.
Okay,
4
good
5
stuff.
there.
So have you been keeping tabs of both of our scores going throughout?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, in that case then, that is the end of the quiz. So I'm going to leave it to you to do the...
We do have one very special part of the quiz,
Oh, yeah, go on.
which is a special bonus round for the JBR audience. So this, I'm going to ask 5 more questions, which is a bonus round, which they can add to use to tally up their score. if
Oh,
they like.
fucking hell. All right.
Okay.
This will be nice for me, yeah.
So 5 bonus questions are, some are quite tough, some are quite easy. Question 1, which other characters within the James Bond series have uttered the line Bond, James Bond? So
Which other characters? Okay.
in the Bond series, aside from James Bond, have uttered the line Bond, James Bond? Okay. Bonus question number 2. Who was the first actor to appear in more than one role in the James Bond series?
So one actor who's played more than one...
One role in the Bond series. Who was the first one to do it? Okay.
Yeah.
Question 3. In which Bond film does Bond not visit England at all during the film? So which Bond film does he not visit England at all? Okay.
Okay.
Question 4. In the script for GoldenEye, what was M's real name? So in the original script for GoldenEye, M's real name was listed.
Okay.
Finally, question 5. In which Bond films does James Bond resign? So in which films does James Bond resign? Okay. Do you want to take a crack at those?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so question 1. Which other characters within the James Bond series have uttered the line Bond, James Bond?
Do you like Wild Things with the Bond, James Bond?
Yes, excellent.
So Fiona Volpe. Is there more?
I can think of one other.
No, I'm drawing a blank on that.
The other one is Bond, James Bond. So good to see you. It's Valentin Zukovsky in The World Is Not Enough.
Of course, Mr. Bond,
yeah,
James
yeah,
Bond. Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
You definitely get plus. Well, we don't need to mark them, but yeah, you definitely got. Well done for Fiona Volpe. So, question 2: who was the first actor to appear in more than one role in the Bond series?
Now, I think I might have got you on this one.
I think that you've got the answer on my sheet.
It would be. Hold on a minute. It would be Kerim Bey's missus, who then becomes the belly dancer in Goldfinger.
Wow. Okay, that is an awesome answer. Although it's not right.
Oh, okay, all right.
I've got one other, though which even trumps that, but it is a sneaky one.
Okay.
So you knew it was a sneaky one. So the first actor to appear in more than one role in the Bond series
I've got it. It's starting to say it. I've got it.
Go on.
It would be Anthony Dawson, Professor Dent, who becomes Blofeld.
In From Russia with Love. Now that is the second closest to the answer.
Jesus.
But there is one other person who was before Anthony Dawson, and he appeared in 2 roles in the Bond series before Anthony Dawson. Anthony Dawson was an amazing answer, but that is the second best to what I've got. Any other guesses?
No, I'm stumped.
This is
on
quite
that
a sneaky one.
Yeah,
The
go on.
answer is Sean Connery, because he played James Bond, and in the pre-titles of From Russia with Love, he also played a Spectre agent pretending to be James Bond.
That is very sneaky, but good.
Yeah,
You got it.
That's
Nicely
the sneakiest question going, I think. Okay, but a great answer with Anthony Dawson, though. That was really good.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so question 3. In which Bond film does Bond not visit England at all during the film?
I think that has to be You Only Live Twice.
Yes,
Yeah.
Well done. Brilliant stuff. Great stuff. Okay, question 4. In the script for GoldenEye, what was M's real name?
Barbara Maudsley.
Brilliant. So for anyone who didn't hear that, the answer is Barbara Maudsley. Now, I've always thought that was a little reference to Babs there, giving her Barbara the first name. I'm sure it probably was. A little in-joke, because in Live and Let Die, you had old Albert the Croc in reference to Cubby, and now I think that would have been in reference. But great stuff. Yeah, brilliant. Got that as well. Okay, my very last question of the whole bonus round is, in which James Bond films does James Bond resign? So in which Bond films does Bond resign?
On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yep.
License to Kill.
Yes.
Is there any more?
Any others?
Now, Casino Royale.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
For sure. And they're the 3 that I've got. Well done.
Cool. Nice.
Superb.
Cool. Wicked.
So you got a solid, really, really good there. 3.5 out of the bonus round, and they were like thrown at you. So that's excellent stuff.
Beautiful. All right then. So those points for me can't count, obviously, because you didn't get 5 extra questions. So that would be uneven. So you're going to have to do the whole Simon Cowell X Factor announcing thing at the end, where you say who wins.
Okay, give me a second, then I'll add them up. Do you want to keep
I'll keep everybody.
I'll
keep everybody happy with some light banter.
Okay.
So yeah. So I don't really know what to talk about now. You've put me on the spot. I'm just thinking. Yeah, I hope you've all had a good time with the quiz. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. If you've enjoyed the quiz action, there's always the ultimate James Bond quiz, which you can take over at jamesbondradio.com. You can sign up on the email list, and you can take an extra 90-minute bonus episode where you can test your skills even further. Now, while Chris is adding up, I think it's probably going to take him a while.
It takes me a long time.
Because he's not good with numbers, bless him. So we're probably going to be here for another half an hour while he's doing this. I'll just try and entertain you with a little bit of banter now to finish up the quiz. We're going to separate the scores into different categories to kind of represent the level of Bond knowledge. Are you ready? Have you done the numbers?
No, just keep going. I'm listening to you.
All right. It's my soothing tones, late night tones with Tommy. It's
3 in the morning.
Tunes. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to depending on what score you get, we're going to give you a different ranking. So basically, if you got between 0 and 10 points, questions correct, you rank as Jinx. Obviously, there are 100 questions or 100 points up the grabs. If you score between 11 and 20, you get Nigel Small Fawcett. If you score between 21 and 30, your ranking is Stacey Sutton. If you rank between 31 and 40, Chris's amazing impression, forgot to tell you, it is Lieutenant Hip. Yes. 51 to 60, you are Agent XXX. 61 to 70, you are Felix Leiter. 71 to 80, you are Q. 81 to 90, you are M. And 91 to 100, you are 007. So, Chris, it's time for you to reveal the scores. What are the scores, George Dawes?
The scores, George Dawes, are... in second place with a grand total score of 62, which is what category? 62?
That would be Felix Leiter.
Felix Leiter category is Mr. Thompson. Yeah.
Very nice.
And in next door is with a score of 76.
You son of a bitch. You have got, what, 14 more than me?
Well, if we're doubling it,
yeah,
so I only got 7 more. So 76, what category is that?
That makes you Q.
With Q is Mr. Christoph Waltz, or Christoph White.
Ooh, nice.
Boost.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, thank you, but congratulations to you. There's some hard freaking questions being thrown out there.
That was a beast.
Like, super duper hard.
So there we go. So so all our listeners, turn it over onto the old Facebook or even onto the comments of the on the website page for this episode, and let us know how you scored. And let us know what rank you achieved. If there are any 007s out there, we salute you. If there are any Jinxes out there, do let us know, because that would be quite funny.
Yeah. So what's been your highlight of the quiz so far then, Tom?
My highlight of the quiz by far is your impression of Lieutenant Hip.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll sign off the whole podcast with an impression before we go.
Yeah, all right, that sounds good.
So we've got, obviously, from previous podcasts, we've still got the guess a quote. I guess we could do our own guess a quote.
So we did we got too excited after the whole SPECTRE news press conference thing, and we posed a listener quote from Warren Ringham a couple of episodes back, and we got so excited we forgot to actually answer it in the next episode because SPECTRE came out and we were all flabbergasted. So we're going to play Warren's quote for you again now, and then we're going to play his answer. So here it is.
Come on, up you go.
Okay, did you get that one, Chris? Does that ring any bells for you, that quote?
It took a little while, but no, I think I might have got it. It was nice to hear Warren again chime in with a good quote like that.
Yeah.
What did he think?
So this one I wasn't sure. I had a couple of different ideas and it didn't end up being correct. So let's have a listen to what the answer was.
Hello, gents. It's Warren Ringer speaking from Cue the Music Show again. Just following up for my guess the quote. Previously, my quote was, "Come on, up you go." And the answer, if you didn't get it, it was Q in The Living Daylights, from the scene when he's helping Georgi up the stairs to be shot out of the country. Quite interesting with it. I just had it on and I just thought, oh, that's a great quote. And I rewound it to have another listen to the quote. And I noticed that there's a really, really bad edit there. And next time anyone's got the DVD on, see if you can see it as well. And Q literally jumps across the screen to go up the stairs. Obviously, they had a couple of different takes that they've cut together. I'd never ever noticed it before, and if you blink, you miss it. It was only because I sort of replayed it a couple of times to listen to him say the quote that I noticed it. So, yeah, a bit geeky, I guess, but yeah, spotted that one. Anyway, keep up the really great work. Really excited about the new film. Loved the podcast last week, and all the best. Bye.
So there it was cute. For some reason, I was thinking of it conjured up an image of like an ice skating scene. I thought it was involved Bibi Dahl and Jakob Brink and all that kind of stuff. But obviously not. And now he says it's cute. Obviously I can hear it. Yeah, come on, up you go. Yeah, I can hear it. Nice. So now you might remember from the last episode, we had an intriguing quote question from Nick Knight. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play the entire question again because it's an intriguing one, and then we'll play his answer. So here it is.
Hello, this is Nick Knight. I live in London. I'm hoping to be the first person to send you a guess the quote from the actual location in which it was said in the film. So here I am, I'm standing in the right spot. And if I look over there, I can see someone who is actually in this scene. So if the performance is no good, at least the acoustics should be spot on. So here's the quote. "500 courtesies." There we are, again. 500 courtesies. Here we are. Quite easy, I think. Bye.
Okay, so there it is. There's the question. And then, as we discussed last time, it kind of stumped the both of us. I didn't have a clue. Yeah. You didn't have a clue.
No. No. I think if I'd got the language right, it might have helped. But
yeah, absolutely. So, so let's have a listen to Nick's answer.
Hello, this is Nick Knight with the answer to my Guess the Quote. I live in London, but at the end of November my special needs were being looked after at the Palazzo Hotel in Estoril, where I was staying for my birthday weekend. So my quote is in the post-title scene of On Her Majesty's Secret Service. It's Manuel, the manager of the Palazzo, calling for the keys to Bond's room, just after Bond says it's good to see him. The young lad who goes to fetch the keys and hands them to Manuel is Jose Diego, who is now the head concierge at the Palazzo. So, when I recorded my quote there in the lobby on Sunday evening, he was behind his desk, and I could see him when I did my quote. So, that's that. Happy New Year, everybody. Cheerio.
Okay, so that is bloody amazing, isn't it? Now,
really good.
Yeah, we're going to have to make a pilgrimage to that hotel now, aren't we, and have a look at this fella.
Yeah, if he's still there, definitely.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, it's hindsight, but now you know it. You can, if you listen to it again, you can sort of.
It's funny, isn't it? It's like we said throughout the quiz. You just it's in your brain somewhere. Yeah. It's just being able to access it and bring it out. But there we go. Anyway, so we've got a new listener quote for this week, and this one is from Dave Rolfe, and here it is.
Hey guys, this is Dave Rolfe in Minneapolis. Tom and Chris love the podcast. Can't wait for Spectre. Here's my quote. Might be a little easy, but I thought I'd start off with an easy one. You were saying something about the lost art of interrogation? Thanks, you guys. Keep up the great work.
Okay, any ideas on that one, Chris?
I think I've got an idea with that one. Yeah,
it definitely rings a bell, that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so my quote last time was this one. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. Yeah.
I'm not going to go chasing him. He's not important.
This one, if it's not what I think it is, then I'm not sure. It's a tough one. The one that kind of came to mind was Bond speaking about Yusuf in Quantum of Solace, but it might not be that.
You're absolutely correct. It is.
It is.
Yeah.
With Daniel Craig, yeah. It's one of those ones where you're not I just wasn't quite sure. It's the only thing that I could get a little bit of a link to. But
not going to go chasing him. He's not important, and neither was she.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
toughen up.
There we go. Cold-hearted Bond.
Too right. Right, well, I've got a new quote for this podcast, and my new quote, unfortunately, it's not going to top Lieutenant Hip. I do apologise, but I'll try. Okay, so my new quote for this podcast is, "Boss, you're alive! So glad to see you."
Wow. Okay. Let's hear it again.
Okay, it is, "Boss, you're alive." No, it's I might have gotten one word wrong. So I might have to do. I'll do it the alternate way, and then you got both ways. Okay, "Boss, you're alive. So pleased to see you." That's either pleased or glad. I'm not sure, but I'll do it again. Right. Okay, so, "Boss, you're alive. So glad to see you."
Interesting. All right. Okay.
That "you" is coming out slightly Lieutenant Hippish, and I can't get it out.
I know, that's all I can
so
hear
pleased
now.
to see you. It's not Lieutenant Hip. I promise you, it's not Lieutenant Hip.
All right. Cool. Very nice.
Okay. So there's the quotes for this week. So also we obviously do guess the music cue round. So what we're going to do is we'll play the little bit of music from last time, and here it is. Okay, so there we are. What do you think of that one, Tommy? Any ideas for that?
Do you know what? I do know this one now. I always struggle with these because it's such a small little snippet, isn't it? And it's
they're literally
tricky,
between 5 and 7 seconds, something like that.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm going to answer with a quote, which is "ATAC twos and zeros."
Ah, good one. That's a brilliant quote. We should
Thanks. I should have done that, shouldn't I?
Yeah. So yeah, of course it was when Bond is recovering the ATAC from when he's underwater, and he gets the big guy in the big suit is after him in the diving suit. So yeah, great stuff.
Very nice.
Okay, so here is the new cue for this podcast. Okay, so there we are. That's we're not going to do a trivia round or a Bond facts round this week because we kind of covered them both within the whole quiz. So.
Doing a Bond trivia and a Bond facts is a bit tricky on a quiz episode. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll leave that for now. But in terms of what we're going to do next time, well, it's going to be 2015. I think 2015 is going to be a heck of a year for Bond.
It is. It's going to be a great year. So when you think about it, we started this this little fledgling podcast on the 7th of February, and here we are in December at the end of the year. We fired out one episode shy of 30 episodes. And it's been a wonderful year. It's been a great year for Bondage, and I think 2015 is going to obviously be an even better year for Bondage. Next year we've got some amazing interviews lined up. We've got at least 2 that's floating around my mind that are going to be really interesting, really really good. And hopefully at some point we can add Daniel to that list when Spectre comes out, and we can go and interview him.
He's invited us round his place, actually. Him and Rachel are going to cook us a meal, and then, Did you know what? Actually, I forgot to tell you. I did have a dream about Daniel Craig.
Oh, here we go.
Recently. Here we go. No, it's not a Babs type dream, but it was almost weird. It was like he was like a good mate, and we were just chatting Bond, but he didn't mind. And I thought, this is a bit strange. But he was just like a genuinely nice bloke, and just like, chatting to him as if, you'd met someone, you go out for a drink or whatever and just have a chat. And that's all it was. But it was just like, it's just really cool.
Maybe that's a premonition of the future after, after Spectre comes out and stuff. And, maybe we can be friends with him. Yeah. Very nice. So in our new tradition, we're not going to reveal what our next episode is going to be. But it'll be out in 2 weeks as per usual. And it's going to be a fresh new year for Bond. And a fresh new year for James Bond Radio 2. So thank you for tuning in. It's been great to podcast for you guys and to have you guys interacting on Facebook and over email and Twitter and all that kind of stuff. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next year.
Yeah, have a brilliant Christmas, everyone, and great new year, and look forward to catching up in 2015.
James Bond Radio will return in 2015. See you later, everybody. Goodbye.
See you guys. Bye. Forgot to tell you, their father ran karate school.